Chapter 23. Even though it was a game, there was still camaraderie. Looking at the player who died, Chernziu mourned for half a second before he turned around and pounced on the other ghost soldiers. Such scenes could be seen everywhere on the battlefield. At this moment, Li Tianxia, who was fighting side by side with Wu Guori, was holding a ghost cavalryman tightly. "Brother, I'm hugging him. Chop him, chop him." Wu Guori was stunned for a few seconds before he quickly killed the ghost rider. Wu Guori helped Li Tianxia up and patted him on the shoulder. "Brother, with your ferocious fighting spirit, you would definitely be a reckless soldier in ancient times." Li Tianxia rolled his eyes. "Brother Wu, don't mock me. Continue to kill. Don't let these bastards escape." Then, the two of them teamed up and charged towards the ghost cavalry again. The more the players fought, the more excited they became. More and more ghost soldiers fell on the ghost cavalry army's side, and the resistance became more and more strenuous. The ghost supreme commander roared angrily as he realized that there was no way to break out of the encirclement. He jumped down from his demonic colt and kept swinging the blade in his hand. The blade radiance was shooting everywhere and a path was carved out by him. However, before he could move forward, the path was blocked by the players again. The ghost supreme commander could not move an inch and could not break out of the encirclement at all. At this moment, a silhouette appeared from the side. With a flash of blue light, a blue heavy sword hit the back of the ghost supreme commander. "Ha!" As the ghost supreme commander turned around, the light around his body suddenly expanded outwards and bounced off the giant's sword on his back. Turning around, the ghost supreme commander's pupils shrank when he saw who it was. "It's you." Wang Damong grinned. "That's right, it's me. How is this possible? You're already dead, and I was the one who did it." The ghost supreme commander thought that these creatures had many similar faces, but when he saw Wang Damong, he realized that he was wrong. The ghost supreme commander was terrified. He couldn't believe that such a strange scene would happen. Could it be that these creatures couldn't be killed at all, and could even be resurrected? Seeing the shocked expression under the ghost supreme commander's helmet, the onlookers started mocking him. 2333 Stupid ghost supreme commander, tremble in fear under the gaze of the evil forces of the players. Facebomb. The ghost supreme commander seems to be in despair under the resurrection of the evil forces of the players. I'm dying of laughter. This NPC's expression is so cool. I've already taken a screenshot and am preparing to make it into a sticker pack. Bro above, remember to send me a copy after you're done. Facing the terrified ghost supreme commander, Wang Damong held his dagger horizontally. "Come on. I'm not afraid of death. At most, I'll still be a good man in 3 hours. If you're so awesome, why don't you resurrect yourself for me to see?" "Go to hell!" The ghost supreme commander's face turned gloomy as he was being mocked. He swung his sword towards Wang Damong. The ghost supreme commander's furious attack was extremely powerful. It instantly killed Wang Damong and created a deep pit on the ground. Wang Damong's death did not affect the high spirits of the players at all. They once again surrounded the ghost supreme commander in the middle and took turns to attack him like a suicide squad. This made the ghost supreme commander feel the terror of the evil forces of the players. As time went by, the ghost supreme commander started to pant and the speed at which he swung his sword started to slow down. His will to fight was getting weaker and weaker. He felt helpless when he thought that these creatures who called themselves players could not be killed at all. Seeing that the ghost supreme commander was about to die, the players became even crazier and all of them rushed towards him. "The first kill is mine, don't fight for it. Don't push me, let me slash at him for a while. It's good to share some of the experience. I feel that this boss is going to drop some high-level red equipment or even better equipment. Damn, whoever gets it will be rich. Get out of my way, let me do it." The players had a clear understanding of the value of soul coins. They knew how valuable a red-level equipment was. A lot of rich people would fight to buy it and it would be easy for them to sell it for hundreds of thousands of yuan. Thinking about this, the players went completely crazy. They crowded around the Ghost Supreme Commander and wanted to loot his body after he died. After the Ghost Rider army was annihilated, the Ghost Supreme Commander had become a hot commodity. The Ghost Supreme Commander's resistance was getting weaker and weaker. The armor on his body started to crack after the continuous collisions. "Get out of my way!" Before he ran out of energy, a green light burst out from the Ghost Supreme Commander's body again and sent the players around him flying. "Good boy, how dare you resist? Explode! Struggle before death, hurry up and explode!" In less than a second, the players surrounded him again and countless attacks were launched again. Under such continuous crazy attacks, the flame in the Ghost Supreme Commander's pupils started to shrink until it was extinguished. At the moment when the Ghost Supreme Commander died, dozens of players around him leveled up at the same time. At the same time, the Battle Artifacts ability was activated and it dissected the Ghost Supreme Commander's body, revealing 3 items on the ground. Ghost Supreme Dawn Blade, red. Ghost Supreme Commander level weapon attribute, increase strength by 18 points. Weapon skill, Wind Blade, can be used once per hour to deal double the damage from a long-distance skill. Requirement, Warrior Occupation, level 30 or above. Ghost Supreme Armor, red, broken. Attribute, increase defense by 15 points, broken effect is halved. Skill, defense screen, broken, unable to be released. Requirements, any class, level requirement. Level 25 Magic Rune number 1 of. The accessories of the Dark Rune device set can be sold in the shop, worth 500 soul coins. The artifact quickly analyzed the attributes and value of these 3 items. Seeing these 3 items, the surrounding players' eyes were filled with excitement. In the bedroom, Bailey, who was watching the battle with Lu Wu, suddenly stood up in surprise when she saw a blue rune fragment dropped by the Ghost Supreme Commander. "What's wrong?" Lu Wu asked. "Didn't you want to set up a few hidden occupations? I think this is our chance." Looking at the excited Bailey, Lu Wu was confused. This Wraith Talisman was used by the top blacksmith of Beiki, Enchantment, to create a special warrior. If we can get our hands on this, I'm confident that I can help you develop a rune warrior advancement plan. Is this thing really that powerful? Lu Wu was surprised. Of course, the setting of the rune warrior has always been in my mind. Unfortunately, I haven't had the time to study it. With this thing, I can guarantee that I can help you develop a warrior class advancement plan. Upon hearing this, Lu Wu's interest was piqued. "Tell me more about this plan." Bailey nodded. The Rune Warrior is the name of a special warrior system created by the top blacksmith of Beiki, Enchantment. The forging process requires a lot of materials to be fused with the person being forged. The process is very complicated, but the strength of the finished product will be extremely terrifying. However, we don't have to go through so much trouble since we have the battle artifact. As long as I study this rune thoroughly and implant the template into the artifact, I can create a hidden occupation, Rune Warrior. Other than leveling up, the growth system of this occupation also includes the growth mode of collecting runes. The addition of each rune can greatly increase the strength of the Rune Warrior. Chapter 24. After killing the Ghost Supreme Commander and his army, the players were filled with joy. It was a sleepless night for many. However, when the players logged into the game the next day, they realized that there was an additional notification in the game. Berserker's first profession advancement, Rune Master. Many curious players clicked on the notification. Suddenly, the scene in front of them changed and appeared in an empty wilderness. In the middle of this empty space, there was a tall warrior with runes of different colors engraved on his body. Profession Introduction, Frowny Face Rune Master. In order to pursue the ultimate power, the Berserker abandons his weapon and uses his own body as a vessel to engrave runes of heaven and earth to forge the strongest body. Profession Specialty. Every time a new rune is engraved, the user's strength will be greatly increased and the user will obtain the special skills of the engraved rune. Equipped weapon. Bare hands, boxing gloves. Profession requirement. The starting profession must be a berserker and the level must be at least level 30. After the introduction disappeared, the rune master in the empty space moved his body. The runes on his body began to shine and a buzzing sound was heard like an engine. Power rune. Accompanied by the runic master's shout, the ruby on his body suddenly flashed, and his arms also started to expand gradually. Green veins popped up, and he punched the ground fiercely, causing smoke and dust to billow. A huge pit appeared on the ground, and cracks started to spread in all directions. Defense rune. As he shouted again, the blue gem shone brilliantly while the rune master crossed his arms in front of his chest and bent his body slightly. Suddenly, a blue circular light screen appeared. At the same time, a figure holding a magic staff appeared in front of the rune master. Death's descent. As the figure of the mage shouted angrily, a meteor shower formed by energy fell from the sky. However, when these attacks hit the blue light screen, other than some ripples, they could not break through its defense at all. Speed rune. After the attack ended, the green gem lit up and a green gas engulfed the rune master. His figure flashed and instantly disappeared from the spot, continuously flashing in all directions. After the demonstration, the game introduction appeared again. The rune master profession has many growth modes. The number of inlaid runes can be increased as the level increases. In this update, the Berserker Profession Advancement. Rune Master, new NPC. Profession Advancement Mentor. Rune Master Profession Advancement can only be successful after completing the Profession Advancement quest. Class Change Mission Introduction. You can learn more about the details from Class Change Instructor Chusher. As soon as the content of this update was released, it caused a sensation in the forum of Battle Online. Peppa Boar, so powerful, so strong, looking for materials for class advancement. Wuyu, fuck. Why weren't there any other professions? Could the Berserker be the game's biological son? Was it too late to change classes? Button hurts. I strongly condemn it. Why didn't I advance to Great Assassin? I'm already in a state of jealousy. Pay-to-win player. Sad, is there no future for me, a sewer mage? Crayon_Shinchan replied to a pay-to-win player. Fellow sorcerer, let's cry together. Thunder replied to Crayon_Shinchan. Count me in. Let's cry together and give R&D the middle finger. Strike Gold. Luckily I chose the Berserker. I'm laughing at your jealous faces. While the players were discussing, a question post appeared on the forum. There was also a picture of the details of the Rune Master's job advancement mission. Requirements for Rune Master class advancement. Stage 1. Kill a specific monster. Stage 2. Collect materials to create runes. 1 must be completed. Strength rune fusion materials. Black scorched ore, produced in Langia scorched earth mining area. Molten core, produced in fiery hell. Black armor fragment X10, dropped after killing a black armored evil spirit. Defense rune fusion materials. Black scorched ore, corpse water core, produced in corpse water river area. Netherworld pearl X10, drop after death of a netherworld force. Speed rune fusion, destruction rune fusion, flight rune fusion, explosion rune fusion. Qianyo Strongman's Special Rune Fusion, Xingtian Strongman's Special Rune Fusion. Stage 3. Class Advancement successful. Class Advancement mode activated. Beast Fighter. Who can tell me what the hell are these materials for class advancement? Other than the Netherworld Pearl, I don't know a single one of them. I don't even know where these places are. Replies. Wuyu 666. The harder the better. It would be best if I could find you berserkers to become autistic. Pay-to-win player. I agree with the commenter above, but I feel that the growth of this class is really strong. There are all kinds of enhancements. No, I'm already in a state of jealousy. I curse that you guys can't find it. Peppa Boar. I'm dumbfounded. The rune masters are really strong, but the difficulty of class advancement is definitely beyond your imagination. Based on what we know about the Netherworld Force, there are only a few who can fight it alone, not to mention the other monsters that sound strong. Strike gold. I think I'd better find a way to collect the simplest strength, defense, and speed. I feel that it's impossible to obtain those few special runes by myself. Yi Shuer is the cutest. I strongly protest. Why don't I, the great assassin, have such a powerful class advancement? I request for a rune assassin. Yi Shuer's sidekick replied to Yi Shuer is the cutest. Everything Shuer says is right. Crayon Shinchan replied to Yi Shuer's sidekick. Bootlicker, in the end, you will get nothing. Lu Wu smiled and rubbed Bei Li's little head as he read the players' discussions. You're really something. You actually developed a new class with just a rune. Bei Li pushed Lu Wu's hand away with her little head, her face full of pride. That's right. I'm now researching the mage class advancement. When the time comes, I'll introduce 3 mage class advancement paths for the players to choose from. Which 3? Lu Wu asked curiously. The curse path, that's good at controlling and reducing debuffs, the demon path, that's good at dealing damage, and the spiritual monster path, that's good at shapeshifting. Each of them has their own unique characteristics and are very powerful. Awesome! Lu Wu gave a thumbs up. What about the assassin? What about the assassin class advancement? I'm still thinking about the assassin class. The classes that I created require special materials from the underworld to be added to the players. It's equivalent to creating a new body template for them. I can't just add whatever I think of. Therefore, I have to think about every class advancement carefully and study it repeatedly. Is there anything I can help with? Lu Wu felt a little guilty as he watched Bei Li immerse herself in her research every day. You just buy me a lot of delicious food every day. After all, research is very mentally taxing. I need all kinds of delicious food to supplement my nutrition. As for research, I don't need your help. After all, research requires a lot of talent and intelligence. You definitely won't be able to help. Bei Li's serious words made Lu Wu's pride ache. Chapter 25. Liuli District was close to the coast of the underworld sea. There was a throne made from the bones of all kinds of creatures, and a huge body was sitting on it. In front of him, countless creatures were kowtowing in worship. What's the reply from the underworld sea? A deep voice came from the gigantic body, causing the creatures below to tremble. Lord Cha-Na, the Sea King said that as long as you are willing to offer 100,000 Een souls as sacrifices every year, the Underworld Sea will recognize you as the overlord of Liuli District. Boom! Intense flames burst forth from the throne, and the pair of burning eyes were filled with endless anger. How dare he be so arrogant when the King of Baki was still around? Does he think that I, Cha-Na, am a pushover? The soul-liberating envoy, who was wearing a black robe, trembled. Then what does Lord Cha-Na mean? Cha-Na was silent for a while, then slowly said, "Bear with it for now and agree to his request. When I break through to the Ghost King realm, I will get my revenge." The soul-liberating envoy nodded, as if he had thought of something. Lord Cha-Na, Gui-san's soul fire has been extinguished. Gui-san? Isn't he guarding the border between Liuli District and the Mansion of the Dead? How did he die in such a safe area? The soul-liberating envoy shook his head. Not only is he dead, but it seems like all his subordinates are dead too. None of them came back to report. Is it the Rock Ghost King of the North? Cha-Na shook his head. It can't be him. He wouldn't be so stupid as to make an enemy out of me right after conquering the North. It must be some other force. Go and investigate personally. I want to know who is targeting me. The soul-liberating envoy bowed respectfully at Cha-Na, then his figure melted into the shadows and disappeared quickly. As the forum of Battle Online was often full these days, Lu Wu and Wu Gui decided to create a new official homepage for Battle Online after some discussion. They completely revamped their small gaming website. At the same time, there were a few more functions that were about to be added on the webpage, one of which was live streaming. At the same time, the video of the battle between the players and the Ghost Supreme Commander was also uploaded to major video portals such as Bilibili. The number of players of Battle Online increased by leaps and bounds again, reaching 200,000. Even if Lu Wu did nothing for the past few days, the number of soul coins was still increasing. Apart from the expenses for various quests, Lu Wu's soul coins had finally exceeded 50,000. The construction of the Mansion of the Dead that he had planned for a long time had officially begun. Under Bei Li's control, a large amount of soul energy gushed out from the artifact and turned into a sea of soul energy that enveloped the abandoned Mansion of the Dead. With the help of the artifact, the buildings in the Mansion of the Dead began to be repaired, and a wonderful half-real scenery appeared, attracting a large number of players to stop and watch. Unlike the Yin Qi, the restoration of the Soul Qi took more than 10 minutes before it completely took shape. When a towering, black building appeared above the ruins, the spectating players were in an uproar. Server announcement: Class Skill Learning is officially open. Players who have reached level 20 can choose the combat skills corresponding to their class in the Cultivation Pavilion to learn. After this announcement appeared, a large number of players leveling out in the fields began rushing towards Underworld's area. They all wanted to see just what kind of place the Cultivation Pavilion was. Meanwhile, Lu Wu and Bei Li had already entered the attic hand in hand. The Cultivation Pavilion was called the Library Pavilion when the King of Beiki was still around. It housed all the cultivation techniques and combat skills collected by the King of Beiki. When the Library Pavilion was renamed, the artifact had stored and organized all the ancient books inside. Under Bei Li's renovation, it had turned into a place with a classical charm and a fantastic color. All the books inside had been changed into silhouette. Players could click on the silhouettes to see the detailed explanation and demonstration of the skills. Of course, soul coins were also required to learn skills here. Moreover, the skills could not be learned just by having soul coins. There was also a level restriction. This was mainly because although some players' bodies had been upgraded and strengthened by soul points, they still could not withstand some of the overbearing technique. Hence, Lu Wu added many learning restrictions here. At the same time, in order to better differentiate them, Lu Wu asked Bei Li to remodel the Cultivation Pavilion for the second time. It was divided into 5 areas, namely the Beginner Cultivation Area, Intermediate Cultivation Area, Advanced Cultivation Area, Spiritual Cultivation Area, and King Cultivation Area. Due to the large number of players, the setting of the Cultivation Pavilion was equivalent to countless parallel spaces. Each space could only have a maximum of 1,000 players. In other words, the Cultivation Pavilion existed in the battle artifact. At the same time, it had opened up countless spaces in order to prevent the situation of being crowded and unable to enter. The two of them walked around the Cultivation Pavilion. After confirming that there were no mistakes, they returned to the world of the living together. At the same time, a large number of players swarmed into the Cultivation Pavilion and began to check out the technique. Warrior Class Skill Area, Mage Class Skill Area, and Assassin Class Skill Area. The 3 main skill areas were crowded with players. Many players had been complaining about the lack of skills for a long time, especially the Mage class. Even if they had reached level 20, they still only had the Yin Energy Bomb skill. This made many players feel that the Mage class was born from a stepmother and was not valued at all. However, this time, the emergence of a few powerful beginner skills had ushered in a spring for the Mage class. Summoning Yin Soldiers, Mage, Skill Description: manipulate Yin energy to gather Yin soldiers to serve you. Each Yin soldier's strength is equivalent to a level 1 player's strength. There can be up to 10 Yin soldiers at the same time. Skill requirement: To learn this skill, you need to consume 10 soul coins and have to reach level 20. Skill upgrade. Summoning Een Soldiers level 2, available at level 25. Summoning Een Soldiers level 3, available at level 30. Note: for every level up, the number of Een Soldiers summoned is x2. Een Corrosion, Mage, Evil Spirit type skill. Release corrosive Een energy fog with negative statuses. It can cause large-scale continuous damage. Skill requirement. To learn this skill, you need to consume 10 soul coins and have to reach level 20. Skill upgrade. Een Corrosion level 2, available at level 25. Een Corrosion level 3, available at level 30. Note: for every level up, the area of damage and the strength of the damage will be increased. Evil Spirit Entanglement, Mage, Evil Spirit type skill. Summon wandering evil spirits to possess the body. The body will be protected by evil spirit. Skill requirement. To learn this skill, you need to consume 40 soul coins and have to reach level 30. Skill upgrade. Vicious Spirit Possession, level 40. 100 Ghosts Night Walk, level 80. Note: this skill has uncertainty. The strength of the evil spirits summoned is affected by environmental factors. The higher the level, the stronger the evil spirits summoned. Seeing a bunch of mage class skills, the mage players who had always regarded themselves as a sewer burst into tears. They knew that spring had really come. Chapter 26. After the battle with the Ghost Supreme Commander, the players realized the difference between their own forces and the Ghost General Cha-Na's. Therefore, the players started a frenzy of leveling up. At the same time, many berserkers started to walk out of the Mansion of the Dead due to their desire to become a rune master. They went to the outside world to look for materials to change their class. To make it easier for the players to waste a lot of time on the road, Lu Wu used 5,000 soul points to create 2 teleportation circles. He placed them at the entrance of the Ghost Mountains and outside the Mansion of the Dead. At the same time, he made an announcement that all the players could build teleportation circles in the areas that they had explored 100% of the time. This was undoubtedly good news for the players. After all, every time they resurrected, they would have to go to the Ghost Mountains to level up. They would have to spend a lot of time on the road. Of course, the teleportation circles that Lu Wu built were not free. They would have to pay 1 soul coin as a teleportation fee. What Lu Wu did not expect was that he would earn back half of the cost on the first day after the teleportation circles were built. While the players were busy leveling up, a new column was launched on the official website of Battle Online. It was the live streaming function that many players had been waiting for. This allowed the players who died in the game and entered the cooldown period to watch the live streaming. At the same time, in order to obtain more soul coins from the players, Lu Wu imitated other live streaming platforms and set up a reward function. This reward function did not use cash, but soul coins in the game. Lu Wu set up a total of 6 types of gift. They were: Heart 0, 1 soul coin, Cake 1 soul coin, Ring 5 soul coins, Flying Saucer 20 soul coins, Yacht 100 soul coins, Lucky Crystal 1,000 soul coins. Of course, the money from the rewards did not go to the streamer's pocket. Lu Wu would take 50% of the service fee from the rewards. In other words, these streamers were actually working for Lu Wu in disguise. However, on the first day this function was launched, there were more than 1,000 streamer registration applications. After the review was completed, all kinds of streamers went online one after another. There were also many live streaming columns on the webpage. Some of the weird streamers even quickly attracted a wave of fans. For example, Sadface, a cute girl who has no money to spend, so she live streams to earn soul coins to support herself. Number of viewers: 390, a solo leveling strategy in the Ghost Mountains. Teaches you how to make all kinds of traps and challenge wild monsters. Number of viewers: 1200, how to build your own house in the game, and how to use outdoor materials to build a house. 876 viewers. Lord Da is trying to survive in the wild. In the process of reclaiming a new area, he swears not to go home until he finds all the materials for a rune master. Live broadcast of Taming Zombie Wolves in Liuli District, 8th attempt, current number of viewers. 3294, teaching Berserker close combat techniques, from a Special Forces soldier in real life, current viewer. 341, the Mage's Spring has arrived. PK in the wild. I've already killed 5 Berserkers today. How satisfying. Number of viewers. 976. Assassin's Creed, the Wandering Grim Reaper in Liuli District is looking for lone ghost soldiers. Number of viewers. 2111. The appearance of a large number of streamers had enriched the gameplay of Battle Online. In the underground R&D room of the Black Sea Technology Company in the capital of Chi-Dragon, the lights of the virtual gaming pods were flashing as they carried out the final test. The senior staff of Black Sea Technology were watching the experiment nervously because they knew that if the test was successful, they would have the first opportunity to seize the market share. In the research and development of virtual gaming pods, time was the most precious thing. If they were slower than others, they would be limited in every aspect. Beep! As the green indicator lights lit up on all the virtual gaming pods, the senior staff of Black Sea Technology were all excited. Congratulations, the research and development is successful. This batch of virtual gaming pods, together with the nutrient solution, has successfully allowed players to stay in it for 24 hours without being affected in any way. The white-haired old man in the research and development team said joyfully. As soon as he finished speaking, there was an uproar in the research and development room. Everyone began to applaud. After confirming that everything was correct, the senior staff, who were immersed in joy, called for an emergency meeting. Since we're going to enter the market, it's important to quickly occupy the entire market. What do you all think? The CEO's words caused the people below to fall into silence. Then, they began to express their own opinions. However, most of them were selling at reduced prices, opening up the market, and looking for agents. At this time, a young-looking man sitting at the end of the row stood up. Since our product's main purpose is to serve the game, why don't we cooperate with game merchants and use their reputation to open up the market? It's the best. Hearing this, everyone in the room nodded subconsciously. In order to quickly occupy the market, we'll implement the plans you mentioned at the same time. At the same time, Shaoli, you'll be in charge of coordinating with the game manufacturers. Don't let me down. Just as the board of directors made their decision, the secretary ran into the room in a panic. President Chen, the Jieda Corporation from Country A just announced at the press conference that they've developed virtual gaming pods. Hearing this news, everyone in the room was shocked. Then, the secretary picked up the tablet and connected it to the projection in the conference room. Soon, the scene of the press conference appeared. After many years of research, the virtual world will usher in a new era from today onward. This is because the virtual gaming pods that everyone has been waiting for have been developed successfully. After countless data tests, I can guarantee that the gaming pods are stable. Seeing this news, everyone in the room felt as if a bucket of cold water had been poured over them. The joy from before vanished without a trace. There was no greater joy or sorrow than this. After a moment of silence, the president of the Black Sea Corporation immediately announced that a press conference would be held. At the same time, all the planned marketing plans would be carried out quickly. They had to take over the domestic market in the shortest time possible. They could not let the Jieda Corporation from Country A take the lead. At the same time, they had to think of ways to open up new markets overseas. The entire company was suddenly in a state of panic. While the Jieda Corporation was releasing the press conference, Lu Wu and Bailey were sitting on the bed, eating snacks and watching TV. Virtual gaming pods? A 24-hour experience? Seeing this news, Lu Wu's body trembled. One had to know that the biggest limitation to the players was their strength. For the players' safety, he had set a 12-hour gaming time limit. However, seeing this advertisement, Lu Wu felt that it was an opportunity for the underworld players to develop faster. At this moment, Lu Wu's phone suddenly rang. Picking up the phone, Wu Gui's voice came from the phone. "Brother Lu, quick, look at the news. The Jieda Corporation has released virtual gaming pods. A 24-hour experience. I just happened to see it. Brother Wu, why are you so excited?" Wu Gui took a deep breath. "Just now, the operations department of the Jieda Corporation contacted me, hoping that I can promote and collaborate with them. I immediately thought of your game. This is a win-win situation. Your game can enter the overseas market through the Jieda Corporation, and the Jieda Corporation can also enter the domestic market through our game. Their representative will come to the headquarters of 173 tomorrow to discuss with me. I have invited 30 major game manufacturers, including you. You must come on time tomorrow morning." Chapter 27. In the conference room at the headquarters of Platform 173. Many well-known game manufacturers in the country had sent their representatives to participate in the Jieda Corporation's Cooperation Negotiation Conference. Wu Gui looked anxious. He looked at his watch from time to time, but Lu Wu was nowhere to be seen. "Boss Wu, it's almost time. Let's start the meeting." The representative from the Jieda Corporation spoke. He was a middle-aged man with glasses and a well-ironed suit. Wu Gui sighed. Just as he was about to announce the start of the meeting, the door of the conference room was pushed open. Lu Wu walked in with Bailey. Seeing Wu Gui, Lu Wu smiled embarrassedly. There was a traffic jam. "Sorry I'm late." "Have a seat. Why did you bring your sister here?" Wu Gui pointed at the seat beside him and looked at Bailey. "My sister doesn't like to be alone." Initially, Lu Wu had planned to come alone. However, when Bailey saw that Lu Wu was leaving without her, her expression turned gloomy, like an abandoned lamb. Lu Wu had no choice but to bring her along. Seeing Lu Wu pull out a seat and put Bailey on his knees, Wu Gui felt a headache coming on, but he still said, "Everyone is here. Everyone is here. Orisa, you may begin." The man standing at the front of the conference table nodded. He pressed the remote control in his hand and a 3D virtual projection appeared on the conference table. Looking at the data, Lu Wu was dumbfounded. The representatives of the game manufacturers were scrutinizing the data carefully. "I think everyone knows the strength of the Jieda Corporation. In the field of virtual reality helmets, we are the world's leader. Now we have created a gaming chamber that is even more advanced than the virtual reality helmet. I think everyone understands the purpose of my visit, so let's start the discussion. The data I'm showing you is the growth of the Jieda Corporation's share of virtual reality helmets in the world over the past few years. Everyone here is a major game manufacturer in Chi-Dragon. I believe that if we implant your games into the helmets, it will be a great help to the promotion of your games." Lu Wu almost dozed off after listening to the hour-long self-praise. Bailey was already lying on the conference table with a smile on her face. "So, since it's a mutually beneficial project, the Goose Factory agrees to sign the cooperation agreement. However, what are your requirements?" After listening to the introduction, the representatives in the room were all tempted. "It's simple. Pay 5% of the profits every year as the foundation of the cooperation." 5%. Hearing this, the crowd fell into silence. It seemed a little difficult to come to a conclusion. Many representatives began to take out their phones and call the company's top executives to seek advice. "Well, I'm not interested." At this moment, Lu Wu spoke. His words instantly plunged the meeting room into a momentary silence. Sir, do you have any dissatisfaction with our cooperation requirements?" The representative of the Jieda Corporation asked with a smile. "I can't accept money." At this moment, the little lowly rubbed her eyes and said. The scene fell into silence again. "I think, sir, this is a mutually beneficial cooperation. Embedding your company's game will be very helpful in opening up the overseas market. Before Lu Wu could speak, the little lowly spoke again. That won't do. Talking about money will hurt our relationship. Wu Gui blushed with shame as he quietly tugged on Lu Wu's sleeve under the table. Sir, what do you think? The representative of the Jieda Corporation looked at Lu Wu. What my sister said is exactly what I think. I give up on this collaboration. Wu Gui was dumbfounded. He originally wanted to remind Lu Wu to agree as this was an opportunity, but he did not expect Lu Wu to reject it so easily. In Wu Gui's opinion, with the potential of battle online, if Lu Wu was not satisfied with the conditions, he could sit down and continue to negotiate. It was entirely possible to reduce the revenue to about 2%. However, he did not expect Lu Wu to be so resolute. All right, sir, I express my regret for your decision, but I respect your decision. The representative of the Jieda Corporation smiled again and said politely. After saying that he had given up, Lu Wu stood up and walked out of the meeting room with the little lowly. Actually, Lu Wu was very confident about this collaboration. After all, it was just like what the representative of the Jieda Corporation said, it was a mutually beneficial opportunity. However, the biggest problem was that the Jieda Corporation wanted to charge a fee, which Lu Wu could not accept. Although 5% did not seem like a lot, from Lu Wu's ambition and the perspective of Battle Online becoming popular all over the world, it seemed like a huge amount. At the same time, he was not in a hurry to promote it in the overseas market because he had confidence in Battle Online. Therefore, he would not share any of the profits of Battle Online with others, just like how he rejected Wu Gui's acquisition. Holding Bei Li's hand, Lu Wu took a taxi home. He turned on his computer and clicked on the main page of the game, wanting to see the daily life of the players. After scanning through the main page, Lu Wu's attention was suddenly attracted by a livestream that was pinned at the top. The Rise of the Beast Tamer, the nth attempt to tame. Online viewer count 38236. Seeing that there were so many players watching this livestream, Lu Wu's curiosity was piqued, so he clicked on it. He put on the virtual reality helmet and officially entered the livestream. Lu Wu saw a male assassin on the screen, sneaking towards a zombie wolf. Everyone, pay attention. This time, we will try to use force to suppress him. When he knows that he can't beat me, we will use food to tempt him. I believe that we will succeed this time. As soon as the assassin finished his sentence, a barrage of comments appeared on the screen. 666, rest in peace, brother. I will continue to bet that you will fail this time. Emperor of Perseverance, Beast Tamer Master, you are courting death in a live stream. Hey, brother, you are the most miserable person I have ever seen in a live stream. I have been following you for the past few days. I have lost count of how many times you have died. Please hold on. Death is not scary. What is scary is that you are addicted to dying. Don't think that I don't know that you are using beast taming as an excuse to court death. Brother, I think you should go to the zoo and train for a few years before coming back to livestream. Don't even try. I am afraid that I will die of laughter in your livestream. A barrage of comments appeared on the screen, and all of them were pessimistic about the man who dared to challenge the beast. However, the man's footsteps were firm. He used the beginner assassin's skill, Shadow Steps, to approach the zombie wolf stealthily. The moment the zombie wolf noticed him, he pounced on it. Suddenly, the assassin and the zombie wolf wrestled on the ground, rolling on the ground. Seeing this scene, a smile appeared on Lu Wu's face. After defeating the zombie wolf, the assassin decisively took out a vine rope that he had made from his waist and tied the zombie wolf up. After that, as he mentioned earlier, he used food temptation and force to suppress the zombie wolf. In the end, the zombie wolf was on the verge of death, and the comments on the screen were saying, "Let the poor gray wolf go." Just when everyone thought that the beast taming had failed again, the zombie wolf's pupils suddenly showed a hint of struggle. Then, it whimpered and lowered its head to the assassin. The assassin seemed to be in disbelief. He carefully untied the rope and immediately held his dagger, as if to prevent the zombie wolf from pouncing on him. Woo-woo, to the shock of all the players who were watching the livestream, the zombie wolf did not resist. Instead, it lowered its head and walked to the assassin's side, rubbing against his calf. Tamed. The assassin was in disbelief. Then, he picked up a withered branch from the ground and threw it forward. Go and pick it up! The zombie wolf raised its head and looked at the assassin in confusion. Then, it rubbed against his calf again. Looks like it still doesn't understand, but I guess this counts as tamed. The assassin's face was filled with joy. Seeing this scene, the comments section was in an uproar. Mighty beast taming master, he really succeeded. Brother, you are awesome. Send some love, 1 soul coin. Damn, after following you for so long, I always thought you were a funny streamer. How did you suddenly change to a capable streamer? Brother, you are awesome. I want to try too. This zombie wolf can be used as a mount. Just thinking about it makes me feel awesome. I admire you from the bottom of my heart. I will decisively give you the only 3 soul coins I have, 3 cakes. Ah, you are awesome. The first mount in the whole server is born. Brother, you are famous. Congratulations, brother, for successfully changing to the hidden class Pokemon Master. Bring your Pokeball and start your journey of taming. The screen was filled with all kinds of love, cakes, and other gifts. This successful beast taming could be said to have opened up a new way of playing for the players. A large wave of excited players began to rush to Liuli District. They all wanted to learn how to catch a cool mount. Chapter 28. Under the lead of a certain streamer, there was a wave of beast taming craze in the game. Many players began to form groups and head to Liuli District to look for stray beasts, learning from the streamer's method to tame them. Although the success rate was extremely low, the players were never tired of it. Soon, there were players who rode on the huge zombie wolf, making those players who failed to tame it envious. At this time, a 3-man team was trying to tame a zombie wolf in Liuli District. Looking at the struggling zombie wolf tied to the tree, the 3 of them used all kinds of method. Just as the zombie wolf was tortured to its last breath, and they thought they were about to succeed, a figure suddenly appeared beside the tree. As the figure appeared, the trees began to wither rapidly. The zombie wolf, which was on its last breath, also began to whimper in fear. Wisps of black gas emerged from the zombie wolf's body, quickly entering the body of the black-robed figure. F***CK, you're asking for it. Seeing that the taming was about to succeed, but was interrupted by the figure in front of them, the 3 players were furious. They pulled out their weapons and were about to confront him. However, at this moment, the black-robed figure turned around, revealing a skeleton that shone with a dark luster under the black robe. Its scarlet pupils suddenly flashed, and several black vines suddenly appeared on the ground, trapping the 3 players in place. I ask, you answer. A hoarse voice came from the soul-liberating envoy. NPC. Seeing this person, the 3 players were stunned. NPC? The soul-liberating envoy was also confused, not sure why these people would call him that. Looking at the players who were still struggling, the soul-liberating envoy stretched out his hand again, and the black vines instantly tightened. Tell me, where did you come from, and do you know why the Ghost Supreme Commander stationed here died? You're under Ghost General Chana? The 3 players were not stupid, they immediately guessed this person's background. That's right, I'm the soul-liberating envoy under Lord Chana. Now can you tell me where you came from and about the Ghost Supreme Commander? Hearing this, the 3 of them looked at each other. Are we done for? Maybe, the creditor is here. I remember I even kicked the Ghost Supreme Commander. Shoo, he's listening. You killed Goei-san? Hearing their conversation, the soul-liberating envoy's eyes suddenly blazed. No, with your strength, how could you kill Goei-san? Isn't he just an NPC? Why is he speaking so loudly? You make it sound like we're afraid of you. If you have the guts, let us go. Once I complete my class advancement, we'll fight one-on-one," the leading player said, dissatisfied. Class change? The soul-liberating envoy was once again confused by the unfamiliar term. "I'll give you one last chance." The soul-liberating envoy's patience was wearing thin. He no longer wished to continue chatting with these three strange creatures. "Don't kill us. The three of us are very vengeful. If anyone tries to kill us, we will kill them back. Don't make a mistake." "Yes, yes, yes. If you kill us, we will definitely seek revenge on you when we become stronger." "Jie, seeking revenge on me after death? I don't think you will even have the chance to transform into an initial soul." However, seeing the attitude of the trio, the soul-liberating envoy knew that he would not be able to get anything out of them, so he stretched out his hand again and a ball of black fog flowed into the vines. After absorbing the black mist, the vines grew rapidly. At the same time, sharp black spikes emerged from the vines and stabbed into the bodies of the players. I can't absorb their souls." The soul-liberating envoy was shocked to find that the souls of the three players could not be absorbed. It was as if there was a powerful force holding these three souls in place within their bodies. The soul-liberating envoy waved his hand again in disbelief, and a huge ball of black fog flowed into the vines. Mottled red spots appeared on the surface of the vines, making them look extremely evil. Under the powerful strangulation of the vines, the three players who had turned on their pain shielding died gloomily. The corpses on the ground slowly turned into black fog and dissipated. However, to the soul-liberating envoy's disbelief, there was no loss of soul power in the bodies of the three creatures. Even the souls that had fused with their bodies had mysteriously disappeared. How is this possible? This strange scene completely stunned the soul-liberating envoy. After all, the law of the underworld was that after a creature died, their souls would enter reincarnation and their soul power would dissipate into the heavens and earth. Everything that was happening before his eyes had completely overturned the soul-liberating envoy's understanding. Just as the soul-liberating envoy was deep in thought, a small team of 5 appeared in the distance. "Boss, look at that guy in the distance." The guy who was addressed as boss was a berserker with a giant sword on his back. His purpose in coming to Lioli was also to tame beasts. Hearing his underling's words, the berserker raised his head and looked at the soul-liberating envoy standing by the withered tree not far away. "What's wrong?" "I don't see anything wrong. Don't you think this looks a little like that hidden NPC, the mysterious merchant, that was announced by the officials?" Mysterious merchant? Hearing that, the leader of the berserkers trembled. Many players had only heard of the mysterious merchant but had never seen him in person. However, the players knew one thing, and that was that they could buy many good things from this NPC that could not be bought in the shop. On the forum, they had seen a lucky guy who had coincidentally met the mysterious merchant. In the end, after a round of haggling, he had spent 5 soul coins to buy a fragment of the Rune Master's profession advancement material, and then sold it for more than 100 soul coins. At that time, they had been envious. "Brothers, we're rich." The 5 members of the team all looked excited and hurried towards the soul-liberating envoy, afraid that he would disappear. The soul-liberating envoy, who was still in shock, seemed to sense something. He suddenly turned his head to look at the 5 players who were running towards him with wild joy. When they were near, the leader came to the soul-liberating envoy's side and patted him on the shoulder. "Brother, are you selling? I'll buy." The soul-liberating envoy. "Strangers on the first try, friends on the second. We're all fated to meet and it's all fated. How about a discount?" The soul-liberating envoy was completely dumbfounded. He was not sure if the brains of these strange creatures that he had never seen before were stuffed with turbid air. The words that came out of their mouths were completely incomprehensible. Seeing the silent soul-liberating envoy, the leader of the berserkers felt a little uneasy. Could it be that the way I haggled was wrong? But the guy who met the mysterious merchant on the forum did not mention how to haggle. What should I do? After some thought, the berserker smiled again and patted the soul-liberating envoy's shoulder. Brother, let's take a look at the goods first. I heard that you have a lot of good stuff here. Yes. Let's take a look at the rare items here, the 4 players said excitedly. Chapter 29. Faced with the constant questioning from the 5 players, the soul-liberating envoy's eyes burned brighter. Finally, with a wave of his hand, a cloud of black mist appeared and enveloped the 5 of them, locking them in it and lifting them up. Do you know how the Ghost Supreme Commander who was stationed here died? The soul-liberating envoy asked with a probing attitude. The leader of the berserkers struggled for a while and realized that he could not break free. He looked at his companions speechlessly. What? Does the mysterious merchant have to show off his power before doing business? Cough. Boss, I've never seen it before, I don't know the process. Then, should we praise him to make him happy? And give us a discount? Hearing the players' conversation, the soul-liberating envoy lost all hope. With a wave of his hand, the black mist began to surge and mince the 5 of them into pieces. Seeing that their souls and soul power had mysteriously disappeared again, the soul-liberating envoy pondered. Then, he turned into a black shadow and dashed toward the direction of the mansion of the dead. What happened here was naturally noticed by Bailey, who was on 24-hour surveillance. She quickly reported it to Lu Wu. Looks like Cha Na has sent someone to investigate. But what's the background of this soul-liberating envoy? Bailey held her head and sat in front of the computer, munching on her snacks. The soul-liberating envoy is the highest position under the Ghost King and Ghost General. He is in charge of the collection and submission of Een Spirit. Every Ghost King and Ghost General will be assigned a soul-liberating envoy. Their strengths vary, and they are good at using blood sacrifice spells. Een Spirits? What's that? Lu Wu asked curiously. It's equivalent to money in real life. After all, soul power is a power that ordinary people can't collect. There are many areas in Baiki that produce Een Spirit. Een Spirits are different from beginner souls. They're more like materials that can be used for cultivation or used to forge weapons and equipment. Anyway, they have many uses. Lu Wu nodded. So, these Ghost Kings and Ghost Generals don't occupy the Mansion of the Dead because there are no Een Spirits here. Bailey stuffed a handful of snacks into her mouth and answered vaguely, That's right. Although the Mansion of the Dead is the capital of Baiki, resources are the most scarce here. Although he knew the origin of the soul-liberating envoy and the purpose of his visit, Lu Wu had no idea how to deal with him. He could not help but look at the foodie Bailey again. I don't know either. The soul-liberating envoy can blend into the shadows. With the player's abilities, it'll be hard to kill him. Seeing that Bailey did not know how to solve this problem, Lu Wu fell into deep thought. At this moment, Bailey pointed at the computer screen. Wu, look, they are discussing this in the forum. Lu Wu took a step forward and saw the post that the players had just posted. Man Iron Bull, who can tell me why NPCs are so unreasonable? I thought I was lucky enough to meet the mysterious merchant, but I didn't get anything. I was even killed. Who can tell me why? I'm starting to doubt my life. At the bottom of the post, there were a few screenshots of this person in the game. It was the soul-liberating envoy. Where's Mondo go? Facebomb, bro, are you retarded? Although this guy looks like the mysterious merchant, which part of him is telling you? Can't you see that he's just a skeleton? Soda water. F***ck, bro, you met this guy too. The 3 of us met him when we were taming beasts in Lioli district. He's not the mysterious merchant, he's the Ghost General Cha Na's underling. You're really awesome, going up to die on your own accord. My cute king, where are you? Where's Cha Na's underling? I've already trained my godly skill to level 2. Summoning an army is just around the corner. Let me bring my underlings to slaughter him. Arrogant wolf replied to my cute king, The little mage above me is full of himself. Solo in the wild, and I'll teach you a lesson with my sword? My cute king replied to arrogant wolf. We mages are invincible in solo battles. We're the most awesome and the most powerful. We'll crush all the berserkers. We'll meet by chance in the wild, and we'll show you what a human wave attack is. Sword Master replied to my cute king, stop bragging. Mages are awesome now, but don't you know that there are gods in every version? When we change classes, we'll take on all of you mages by ourselves. Looking at the players' comments, Lu Wu did not know whether to laugh or cry. The recent release of mages' skills had caused many mages who had been in the sewers to become arrogant. After all, with the skill of summoning the underlings, the wretched mages had become very powerful in solo battles in the wild. Just as he was about to continue browsing through the players' discussion posts in the forum, Bei Li's expression suddenly changed. He's here, he's already at the mansion of the dead. Hearing this, Lu Wu immersed his mind into the artifact, observing through the connection between the artifact and the mansion of the dead. He saw a black shadow slowly appearing near the mansion of the dead, then entering it. Looking at the restored mansion of the dead in front of him, the soul-liberating envoy was filled with fear. But he could not believe it. He could not believe that the dead king was still alive. After all, he had witnessed his death with his own eyes. He could even clearly remember the aura of the king of Baki's soul power dissipating. Hence, after pacing back and forth at the entrance for a long time, the soul-liberating envoy gritted his teeth and chose to enter, intending to investigate. After walking one round, the soul-liberating envoy was once again shocked. Seeing with his own eyes that the outer buildings of the mansion of the dead that had been destroyed were as good as new, even the minute traces were the same, he really thought that the king of Baki had returned. But he could not understand why, other than the Sutra Depository, the other buildings had disappeared. This was naturally because Lu Wu's soul coins were only enough to restore the Sutra Depository. He did not have enough soul coins to restore the other buildings, such as the material warehouse and the equipment warehouse. Obviously, this was something that the soul-liberating envoy did not expect. Seeing the soul-liberating envoy wandering around the mansion of the dead, Lu Wu suddenly had an idea. Then, he manipulated the artifact and slowly condensed a figure in the mansion of the dead. Who is it? Feeling the sudden gathering of Yin energy, the soul-liberating envoy suddenly turned his gaze to a corner of the mansion of the dead. Who do you think I am? A dignified voice came from the figure. The sky was suddenly covered with dark clouds. A huge amount of Yin energy formed a tornado, constantly reverberating in the mansion of the dead, and the figure gradually became clearer. The king of Baki. No, impossible. The soul-liberating envoy was shaken to the core, his body trembling uncontrollably. Looking up at the whistling Yin energy in the sky, the soul-liberating envoy suddenly lowered his head and knelt on the ground. Duyan welcomes the return of my king. Do you know the consequences of betrayal? Lu Wu said in a low voice. His voice reverberated in the mansion of the dead through the Yin energy, causing the soul-liberating envoy, who had long been scared out of his wits, to tremble uncontrollably. Your subordinate knows his mistake and is willing to die to atone for it. May my king remember my years of hard work and not extract my soul. The soul-liberating envoy replied in a trembling voice. Hearing this, Lu Wu was dumbfounded. He had only thought of it out of the blue, which was why he had come to act tough. He did not expect the soul-liberating envoy to be so easily frightened that he was willing to commit suicide to atone for his crime. Chapter 30. Looking at the trembling soul-liberating envoy kneeling on the ground, Lu Wu thought for a moment and asked in a low voice, Die? Do you think you can escape so easily after betraying me? Hearing this, the soul-liberating envoy's body shook. The soul fire in his skull fluctuated violently as he lowered his head even further. Please forgive me, my king. I am willing to atone for my betrayal. Bei Li, who was also observing this scene, was dumbfounded. She did not expect Lu Wu to do this. The soul-liberating envoy was so gullible that he surrendered just like that. Lu Wu originally wanted the soul-liberating envoy to commit suicide, but when he remembered that he was serving Ghost General Cha Na of Liuli District, Lu Wu had another plan. Atone? How do you want to atone? Lu Wu asked in a low voice again. As he spoke, the yin energy in the sky condensed and reverberated, enhancing the aura of Lu Wu's condensed figure. I am willing to help my king regain his lost territory and restore his glory. Lu Wu was amused. He did not expect the soul-liberating envoy to be so self-aware before he even said anything. Lu Wu was silent for a moment, then slowly said, "What do you want to do?" As soon as Lu Wu said this, the soul-liberating envoy looked up at him. "You're not the king of Beiki, who are you? Why do you say that?" Lu Wu was depressed. He did not know what went wrong for him to be seen through. "If you were the king of Beiki, you would never let me go no matter how useful I am. I have followed him for thousands of years and am very familiar with him. Moreover, I saw the king of Beiki's death with my own eyes. His soul power dissipated on the spot. How could it be fake? Who are you?" The soul-liberating envoy's answer gave Lu Wu a headache. He was still too inexperienced. "Who are you? How did you repair the mansion of the dead? Why are you here? I think Gui-san's death has something to do with you and the creatures that suddenly appeared outside." The soul-liberating envoy stood up, his hoarse voice echoing in the mansion of the dead. "That's right, the Ghost Supreme Commander was killed by my people, and the next one will be Cha Na." Since he was seen through, Lu Wu did not hesitate to admit it. With the answer to his doubts, the soul fire in the soul-liberating envoy's head suddenly surged. He slowly stretched out his hands and 2 balls of black flames rose from his hand. "How dare you, outsider! Beiki is not a place for you to behave atrociously." Just as the battle was about to break out, Lu Wu spoke again. Do you think Beiki is still complete without the king of Beiki? It's not up to an outsider like you to care." The soul-liberating envoy waved his hand and 2 balls of black flames shot towards him. Boom! Lu Wuyong's body, which was formed from yin qi, collapsed in an instant, turning into a cloud of black mist. However, Lu Wu manipulated the yin energy once again and reformed his body. This time, he appeared directly in front of the soul-liberating envoy. Die! Fierce flames rose and engulfed Lu Wu, burning him continuously. As the black fog dispersed, Lu Wu manipulated the artifact again and materialized at another spot. "You can't kill me, Du Yen." Du Yen, who refused to give up, once again controlled the black flame to chase after Lu Wu, defeating him again and again. After dozens of times, Du Yen realized that he was really helpless against Lu Wu, so he stopped. When he materialized again, Lu Wu wanted to say something. At this moment, Bailey, who was watching from the side, spoke. "Wu, give me the control of the artifact, let me speak." Lu Wu was stunned for a moment, but he still nodded and gave the control to Bailey. Under Bailey's control, the figure gradually solidified and turned into the figure of a young man. This person looked very similar to Lu Wu. He wore a purple torch dragon robe, and purple light swirled in his jade-like pupils. The faint coercion seemed to be innate. Arrogant, domineering, and condescending aura rushed towards him. This familiar feeling almost made the soul-liberating envoy kneel again. However, when he remembered that the person in front of him was not the king of Beiki, he immediately straightened his back. "Stop pretending you're not him. You can't scare me." "Du Yen, I am indeed not the king of Beiki, but I have his blood flowing in my veins. The land of Beiki should be inherited by me." The soul-liberating envoy was about to continue mocking him, but he saw the king of Beiki wave his hand and a drop of blood floated over. Lu Wu was extremely annoyed at the origin of this drop of blood. Just now, Bailey had suddenly leaned over, grabbed his hand and bitten it hard. He was in so much pain. The soul-liberating envoy received the drop of blood with a wave of his hand. He looked at the king of Beiki doubtfully, but he still chose to swallow it. After standing there for a moment, the soul-liberating envoy suddenly raised his head and said in horror, "Are you really the descendant of the king of Baki? I think you already know the answer, why bother asking?" The soul-liberating envoy's feelings were extremely complicated. He had just examined the drop of blood and found that it really did contain the blood of the king of Baki. Although it was very thin, it could definitely prove the identity of the person in front of him. "Why have I not seen you for thousands of years, and why have you returned now?" the soul-liberating envoy asked in a low voice. Upon hearing this, Lu Wu took over the control that Bailey had given him and said, "Baki is the territory of the Lu family. Even if the elder ancestor is dead, his surname is still Lu." "Ha ha ha, little bastard, I think you're crazy. Do you think you're qualified to fight the Ghost King and the Ghost Generals?" The soul-liberating envoy's hoarse laughter was especially ear-piercing. "It's not up to you to decide whether I'm qualified or not. I'll give you a chance now, surrender to me." "On what basis?" The soul-liberating envoy's face cracked into an ugly smile as he said, "You've seen those creatures that call themselves players and killed them, right?" Lu Wu also laughed. "I've seen them. I've killed them," the soul-liberating envoy said nonchalantly. As soon as he said this, the soul fire in the soul-liberating envoy's skull suddenly pulsed violently. "Impossible, you're saying that the reason the souls of these creatures disappeared and their soul power did not dissipate was because of you. You've mastered the law of reincarnation in the underworld." The soul-liberating envoy's guess scared him quite a bit. One must know that the law of reincarnation in the underworld was a supreme power that even the king of Baki had not mastered. If the man in front of him had really mastered it, the soul-liberating envoy's heart was once again filled with fear. "Now I'll give you one last chance. Surrender to me, or else you'll be destroyed along with Cha Na. The choice is yours." Lu Wu's tone also became tough. "How can I believe you? Your idea of taking back the land of Baki is too crazy. I'm afraid it'll be beyond redemption." This time, the soul-liberating envoy did not reject him. Instead, he stared straight at Lu Wu and asked, "Do I look like a lunatic to you?" Lu Wu laughed. "No," the soul-liberating envoy spoke after a moment of silence. Then, his body slowly sank and he knelt on the ground. "Greetings, my king!" Chapter 31. After confirming that Lu Wu was the descendant of the king of Baki, coupled with Lu Wu's mysterious strength and the possibility of mastering the law of reincarnation, the soul-liberating envoy, who had struggled internally for a long time, chose to pledge his loyalty. However, Lu Wu did not ask him to stay. Instead, he asked him to return to Cha Na's side, planting a seed of trouble around him. Following the skeletal steps, the soul-liberating envoy came to the side of the skeleton throne and slowly lowered his head. "Lord Cha Na, I have returned from my investigation. Why did Gue-san die?" the figure on the throne asked slowly. The soul-liberating envoy extended his hand out of his black robe and handed over a withered branch. "Tree demons? The Rock Ghost King. It really is him." The voice on the throne sounded extremely angry. "Isn't the northern region enough? He even wants to lay his hands on my azure glaze. Does he really think that I, Cha, am a pushover? Anyone would dare to offend me. Lord Cha Na, how should we deal with this matter?" the soul-liberating envoy asked with his head lowered. After a moment of silence, Cha Na spoke again. "Let's not deal with it for now. We'll have to wait until I break through to the Ghost King realm." The soul-liberating envoy nodded and was about to leave when Cha-Cha spoke again. "By the way, go to the Underworld Sea and tell the Sea King that I agree with his suggestion." Upon hearing this, the soul-liberating envoy bowed towards Cha Na. "I understand." Then, it slowly retreated. After the soul-liberating envoy pledged his loyalty, Lu Wu and Bailey laughed heartily in the bedroom. They did not expect to deal with this troublesome guy so easily. Moreover, this guy was really going to cause trouble for the Ghost General Cha Na. This undoubtedly made Lu Wu and Bailey very happy. During this period of time, the players had developed rapidly. Due to the rapid spread of Battle Online's fame, many powerful gaming guilds had joined the game. The arrival of these guild players made the game even more exciting. As the saying goes, where there are people, there will be conflict. It was normal for players to have conflicts, and PvP in the wild was the most popular thing aside from killing monsters and leveling up. From time to time, small conflicts between players would escalate into a war between two guilds. All the players wanted to increase their strength, and they often criticized the game developers on the forums for not opening a top-up channel. Lu Wu did not know whether to laugh or cry at this. He had seen players scolding games for excessive paywalls, but this was the first time someone scolded a game that did not allow for paywalls. Another group that was protesting was the assassin players. From their point of view, the assassin players had been reduced to a useless profession. According to the players, they had been abused to the point of being autistic. The reason was also very simple. Berserkers were originally a class that fought head-on. Their one-on-one abilities were naturally stronger. Unless an assassin had very strong techniques, they would not be a match for a berserker. Mages, on the other hand, were even more difficult to deal with. Now that mages possessed summoning and malevolent skills, they were the kings of PvP in the wild. At this stage of the game, they were considered the sons of the game. This allowed a group of sewer mages who had been suppressed for a long time to show off. However, at the very least, berserkers still had hope of changing their class. As for assassins, other than stealth and instant burst damage, they didn't even have any decent one-on-one abilities. Lu Wu could not do anything about this. After all, the development of the profession had to be based on reality. This still depended on when the all-powerful little loli would be able to research it. However, Lu Wu's problem was soon solved by a streamer. This streamer had once joked in the live broadcast room that he was once an assassin in real life and wanted to teach everyone some extremely powerful assassination technique. This attracted the attention of many assassin players. Lu Wu also entered his live streaming channel out of curiosity. The title of the assassin's livestream was Professional Assassin, Teach You How to Solo Kill Boorish Berserkers, Brittle Mages and Extreme Use of Techniques. The hitman's livestream was a practical lesson. In the livestream, he constantly looked for players from opposing guilds in the wild to assassinate. Unlike other assassins, his techniques were very unique. He didn't fight the berserkers head-on. Instead, he used poison needle and backstab to exhaust the berserkers while using shadow steps to move around. The berserker couldn't catch up to the assassin at all in terms of speed. While the berserker was being exhausted, the berserker could only chase after the assassin. There was no way for the berserker to counterattack. When the berserker chose to escape, the assassin would approach the berserker and fight it out with a backstab. After the berserker inflicted the bleed effect on the berserker, the assassin would escape again and continue to release poison needles from afar. This method of fighting had a very high win rate in his live streaming room. Other than a few berserkers with superb swordsmanship, it was basically a win. When fighting against the mage, the assassin directly gave up on using backstab. Instead, he used poison needles to exhaust the mage, not giving the Een soldiers a chance to get close at all. As for the mage's Een erosion skill, because it dealt a large area of effect damage, its power was still less than a single poison needle. In addition, the assassin's HP was higher than the mage's, so he could rely on shadow steps to exhaust the mage. There was no need for him to get close at all. The assassin's wretched style of fighting quickly became popular on the forum. A large number of assassin players began to learn his methods for PvP in the wild. However, because of the high degree of realism, many assassin players found that they often missed their poison needles in actual combat. This made the assassin players who liked PvP start to study throwing technique. This post also made more players understand the importance of technique. In this game, strength was the first standard, and people with strong techniques had the ability to challenge people of a higher level. For example, a very popular Berserker player on the forum, Breeze and Moon. This player was known as the #1 sword master in the current stage of the game. It was said that this person was also a very famous sword master in real life. Although he was only level 15 in a guild war, he had relied on his movement technique and swordsmanship to defeat the combined attack of 5 level 20+ players. It could be said that he had risen to fame overnight, becoming a professional player in the eyes of berserkers. Posts about techniques had always been a hot topic on the Battle Online forum. The appearance of various professional players had enriched the game's diversity. This game gave the players a feeling that it was another world, not just a game. One of the players' posts on the forum left a deep impression on Lu Wu. This player described an incident in his life. One day, the player's girlfriend asked him why he played games every time he got off work. "What's so fun about that stupid game? Can't you get a girlfriend?" The player replied, "You don't understand, I have one more world than you." In the end, they broke up. However, this sentence touched Lu Wu's heart. He felt that the development of the game had indeed exceeded his expectations. However, the other players did not feel the same way Lu Wu did. They all replied in unison, "Brother, you deserve to be single." Chapter 32. It was 3 o'clock in the morning, and the light in Lu Wu's room was still on. Bailey was munching on potato chips at the side, occasionally looking up at Lu Wu, who was deep in thought. There were a few blueprints in front of Lu Wu. They were filled with sketches of various settings and written notes. Lu Wu would add notes to the blueprints from time to time while he was deep in thought. Although he was the king of Bakey behind the scenes, his days were not that easy. The group of players also made him worry a lot. Especially recently, there were more and more requests for the officials to allow topping up, which gave Lu Wu a headache. After pondering for a while, Lu Wu took a deep breath and moved the mouse to light up the screen. He wanted to see if the players in the forum had any suggestions. While he was browsing through the posts, a player's live broadcast was pinned at the top, which attracted Lu Wu's interest. The title of the post was, "The Seaside War, Exciting Not to be Missed." Lu Wu clicked on it and realized that the player was at the border between Liuli District and the Underworld Sea Realm. He was crouching on a cliff by the sea, broadcasting the game to the players on the forum from a high place. Lu Wu did not know how the player entered the territory of the ghost General Cha Na, but what caught his attention was that countless sea monsters were crazily surging towards the shore from the underworld sea. On the other side of the sea, huge waves kept pushing higher and higher, surging towards the shore with the pressure of Mount Tai. At the top of the waves there was a sea monster that looked like a whale, but it was a few times bigger. On its back stood a naked man holding a trident. "Cha Na, come out!" Roar. Following the man's deafening roar, the huge sound waves turned into almost tangible waves, sweeping towards the shore. "What the F***ck? What kind of monster is this? I lost more than 10 HP with just one roar, and I even fell into a chaotic negative state." The player who was crawling on the ground said with a constipated expression. In the comments, "Brother, if you want the potions, count it on me. Don't move the camera, don't miss the NPC war. Steady, it looks like the NPC riding the whale is going to challenge Cha Na. This is exciting. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Naked man riding the whale, I support you in defeating that B***starred Cha Na. Where did this guy come from? Poseidon? Why is it so ostentatious? 2333 Brother above, you must have watched too many movies. I feel that this brother is more like the most popular beast-taming master in the livestream. Can't you see that the sea is filled with monsters that he has tamed? Cha Na, come out." The deafening roar resounded once more, and the trees by the shore were all violently shaken by the violent wind formed by the sound wave. F***ck, please stop shouting. My ears are ringing. I can't take it anymore. I have to take some pills. The livestream player took out a red potion and gulped it down. Otherwise, he was afraid that the next shout would kill him instantly. After this shout, a gust of cold wind blew on the shore. Then, 6 short figures suddenly appeared, and on their shoulders, there was a huge skeleton throne. Sea King, don't go too far. As Cha Na spoke, the raging flames on the throne suddenly surged, facing the aggressive Sea King in the distance. Going too far? So what if I bully you? The fierce-looking Sea King raised his trident. Suddenly, all the sea monsters in the sea raised their heads and roared. Upon hearing this, Cha Na's expression became extremely ugly. Sea King, I respect you as the king of this sea, but you are looking down on me. Do I need you to acknowledge my position? When the king of Baiki was still around, I still respected Baiki. But now, you are nothing in my eyes. In the comments, Poseidon is so domineering, I want to have his babies, a girl who is addicted to games. I love hearing this. Who the F***CK is that traitor Cha Na? Beat him up. Beat him up. This Poseidon is so valiant and manly, I feel like I have been conquered. 666. This brother is awesome. He has definitely mastered the Haushakohaki. I bet 1 soul coin. Looking at the sea and this brother Poseidon, I suspect that there are more pirates in the sea. Are there any brothers who would like to form a ship to search for treasure? The Sea King's words did not give any face to Cha Na. Cha Na's expression became uglier and uglier. He clenched his fists slowly and stood up from the skeleton throne. His tall figure looked at the Sea King from afar. If you want to fight, I'll accompany you. Haha, finally, you're not a coward anymore? How dare you reject my offer? I think you've been prepared for this battle for a long time. Cha Na, who was about to attack, froze. Reject? He thought about how he had asked Du Yen to agree to his offer. The Sea King sneered when he saw that Cha Na had suddenly stopped attacking. He raised his trident and the waves began to surge. Gradually, they formed a huge wave that was 100 meters high and crashed toward the shore. Wait, Sea King, I think we have a misunderstanding. Coward! The Sea King looked at Cha Na with disdain. The huge wave continued to crash down, showing no intention of stopping. Boom! The huge wave crashed down. At this moment, the skeleton throne was carried by 6 short creatures and disappeared, leaving Cha Na in the same place. Roar! With a roar, Cha Na's body continued to grow and turned into a 10-meter-tall giant with a green face and fangs. The huge waves slammed into his muscular, horned body, producing pring-ping sounds of impact. At this moment, the Sea King, who was standing on the back of the giant whale, let out a long whistle. The army of sea monsters seemed to have received the order and surged onto the beach, surrounding Cha Na. Sea King, when did I reject your offer? I promised you 100,000 souls as a sacrifice every year. Why are you forcing me? Cha Na waved his hand as he was surrounded by the army. Countless ghost wolf cavalrymen and iron beast cavalrymen appeared on the shore. Upon hearing Cha Na's words, the Sea King lowered his body. The spouts on the back of the giant whale under his feet spewed out a huge gust of air and propelled him toward the shore like a missile. Cha Na's pupils shrank when he saw the Sea King's attack. His muscles tensed up and he roared as he raised his fist to meet the attack. The 2 fists collided and the force of the explosion formed a gust of wind that blew away a large number of sea monsters around. Drip, drip. Black blood dripped down from the point of impact. Cha Na suddenly staggered backward. At this moment, the Sea King landed on the ground. I really don't know where you got the courage to reject me, Cha Na. The Sea King said mockingly as he looked at Cha Na's pale face. Sea King, I've already said that I've agreed to your request. Why do you have to force me? There must be something wrong. Cha Na was shocked when he felt the huge power in the Sea King's body. Obviously, the Sea King's true strength was far beyond his imagination. They were no match for each other. Chapter 33. Cha Na could only suppress his anger and choose to compromise in the face of such a strong and powerful Sea King. You agree? All right, I accept, But I want to double the sacrifice. The Sea King increased his demand by a fold. You! Cha-Na's face turned pale. He realized that he had no room for negotiation when facing the Sea King. The onlookers finally saw the Sea King's face clearly. There were 3 blue stripes on both sides of his face that looked like gills, and his chest was covered with light blue hair. He was about 2 meters tall, but even when standing in front of Cha-Na, who was more than 10 meters tall, his aura was completely suppressed. His whole body exuded a fierce aura like that of a ferocious beast. In the comments, "What a fierce man! But why did he stop beating Cha-Na? Let's continue. He's so strong. Cha-Na is bleeding with just 1 punch. Is Poseidon at level 999? Shut up, I'm already a fan of Poseidon. I'm waiting for him to beat Cha-Na up. Suppressing him with just 1 punch, that's too strong. Is there such a class? I want to change my class to Poseidon. Why are you guys chatting? Let's continue. I've got melon seeds and cola ready. Please continue. Don't disappoint me, Poseidon. Why, you don't want to? The Sea King waved his hand, and the trident shot out from the sea. He then held it tightly in his hand. Cha-Na took a deep breath and said with a pale face, "I agree. Take your army away." Ah! The Sea King's presumptuous laughter echoed on the shore when he saw Cha-Na's submission. He looked at Cha-Na mockingly again, and with a long howl, all the sea monsters on the shore rushed toward the sea. If you knew this would happen, you wouldn't have sent an envoy to provoke me. Cha-Na, you have to understand that without the King of Baki, the land of Baki is just a plate of loose sand in the underworld. Anyone can bully you. After living for so long, do you need me to remind you of the law of the jungle? After saying this, the Sea King leaped into the sea, and a rapid wave appeared on the surface of the sea. Cha-Na's eyes were filled with hatred as he watched the Sea King leave. He growled and punched the ground, causing the ground to shake and leaving a deep fist print. Duyen, you're asking for it. In the comments, dumbfounded fruit on the dumbfounded tree, you and I under the dumbfounded tree, is the battle over? I'm also dumbfounded. What's wrong, Fatty 4? Is he done? Damn, why isn't Poseidon fighting anymore? My melon seeds and Sprite were destroyed for nothing? I have to give it a bad review. This Poseidon is too weak. How could he let Cha-Na go just like that? F***ck. This battle is over when I'm just excited? I've already taken off my pants and it's gone? I really despise Poseidon. He was so fierce at the start. Why did he leave after saying a few harsh words? Although I didn't hear what they said, I have a feeling that Cha-Na begged for mercy. In the end, Poseidon let him go. That shameful Cha-Na must have begged for mercy, or else he would have been beaten into a pig's head. There was a lot of discussion in the live streaming channel. The players were extremely displeased with the Sea King's actions. The battle had just reached its climax when it suddenly stopped, which made many players feel uncomfortable. After closing the live broadcast page, Lu Wu turned around and looked at Bailey, who was a perpetual eating machine. Literally, who is this guy? Bailey, who was still chewing on her food, looked at Lu Wu in confusion. Holding his forehead, Lu Wu pointed at a screenshot on the computer screen. It's this guy with hairy chest hair. Bailey, who had heard it clearly this time, stretched her neck and swallowed all the food in her mouth before glancing at the screen. The Sea King? He's a powerful figure. He fought with the King of Baki a few times. He fought with my ancestor? Bailey nodded her head vigorously. Yes, he fought a lot. The King of Baki would look for him for a fight whenever he was free. He even brought me along once. Then, I saw the King of Baki pressing him against the ground and rubbing him. It was painful to watch. Lu Wu was stunned. Why did my ancestor look for him for a fight? Bailey spread her hands and said helplessly, "Do we need a reason to fight? If there is, then perhaps the King of Baki wanted to bully him." Bully? Recalling the domineering Sea King just now, Lu Wu held his head again. He felt that his ancestor was really powerful to be able to press such a fierce person against the ground and rub him against the ground. Indeed, he was still far from his level. By the way, why did you ask about the Sea King? Bailey reached for the snack bag beside her and took out a box of chiawa. She opened it and asked. Lu Wu listened and told her about the scene he saw in the live stream just now. Chana was beaten up? Bailey was stunned at first, then she laughed. Serves him right. I think the Sea King must feel that the King of Baki is dead, but he can't let go of the grudge of being bullied in the past. So he beat up the King of Baki's subordinate to vent his anger. Is the Sea King the most powerful existence in the underworld sea? Lu Wu asked again. Upon hearing this, Bailey spat out all the cola in her mouth. Ahem, ha ha. Looking at Bailey's expression as if she was looking at an idiot, Lu Wu smiled awkwardly. Is there something wrong? Do you know how big the underworld sea is? The Sea King is only the overlord of the sea near the land of Baki. How can he be called the king of the underworld sea? That's a height that even the king of Baki couldn't reach at his peak. The entire underworld sea is connected to all the big domains in the underworld. Its area is not smaller than the land. At the same time, the entire underworld sea is divided into 7 seas. The Sea King is only one of the overlords of one of the seas. He can't even dominate an entire sea. He can't dominate an entire sea even though he's so powerful. Lu Wu was surprised. After witnessing the Sea King's strength, he genuinely felt that he was extremely powerful. Bailey nodded. According to the King of Baki, the sea near the land of Baki is called the Void Ocean. The top overlord of this sea is Tao Wu. It's said that its strength is terrifying. Even when the King of Baki was alive, he was not its opponent. The Sea King is at most a subordinate of Tao Wu who is in charge of a sea. After a moment of silence, Lu Wu raised his head again as he digested the information that Bailey said. He raised his head again. Little Li, when we conquer Liuli District, do you think we should build a navy? Otherwise, we won't be able to resist the Sea King's invasion. Bailey nodded in response to Lu Wu's suggestion. I've thought about it. However, we have to repair the equipment warehouse of the Mansion of the Dead. There are many blueprints in there, including a specter ship that grows by consuming materials. Repairing that place will be very helpful for the development of our players. Chapter 34. After hearing Bailey's suggestion to repair the equipment warehouse, Lu Wu planned to do it immediately. However, Bailey told him that it would cost 500,000 soul points to repair the equipment warehouse. This made Lu Wu give up on the idea. The reason was simple. Most of the items in the equipment warehouse were filled with soul power, unlike the library where there were only books. If they were to be repaired, they would need additional soul power to replenish the soul devices, which would result in a huge consumption. However, the specter ship that Bailey mentioned had piqued Lu Wu's interest. According to Bailey's description, the specter ship was a special ship that could transform and evolve itself by swallowing spiritual materials. This kind of ship was not afraid of being destroyed. Even if it was completely dismantled, as long as the core was intact, it would recover after swallowing a large amount of spiritual materials. It was very suitable for the players. When the time came, he could make the initial specter ship and sell it to the players. The players could then cultivate and evolve it themselves. The idea of developing the sea and land simultaneously appeared in Lu Wu's mind. At the same time, the live broadcast on the forum last night had aroused the players' yearning for the underworld sea. Many One Piece fans were ready to make their own ships, ready to take over Liuli District and start their sea adventure. Liuli District's Cha-Na had become a thorn in the eyes of all the players. They wanted to get rid of him immediately. However, many of the players had seen the video at the seaside and knew how powerful Cha-Na was. The current players were no match for him. Even if they had the advantage in numbers, the difference in individual strength was too huge. It was better to focus on development. However, the forum was never short of talent. A few master tacticians immediately started to come up with a battle plan. There was even a weirdo who wanted to go to the underworld sea to seek Poseidon's cooperation. Of course, this proposal was immediately rejected. Although many players admired the Sea King, they knew that he was not easy to negotiate with. Even Cha-Na had to submit to humiliation, so it was impossible for the players to negotiate with him. Even so, the players did not give up. They started to come up with new tactics. At the same time, they gathered their strength so that they could annihilate the ghost General Cha-Na and take over his territory. At the same time, for the convenience of the players, Lu Wu asked Bailey to create a new function in the game: the auction house. The auction house would make it easier for the players to find the items they needed. As long as they filled in the name of the item in the search bar, they would be able to find the items that were marked by other players. The players who had leveled up and wanted to exchange for more advanced equipment could also sell their extra weapons while they were upgrading. Of course, Lu Wu also set a service fee for this function, which was 20% of the selling price of the item. On the first day of the launch of the auction house function, tens of thousands of items were placed in the trading column. Moreover, there were all sorts of items. Aside from weapons and protective equipment, there were even players who placed strange stones on the shelves, hoping to get a bargain and sell them for an astronomical price. Many players could not help but complain that there were profiteers everywhere. Some veteran players even recalled the times when they were scammed when they set up stalls in other games. On the second day after the auction house went online, Lu Wu was sleeping when Bailey suddenly shook him awake. When Lu Wu opened his eyes, he saw Bailey holding a broken dagger in her hand and staring at him with glowing eyes. Lu Wu was terrified. "Wu, I've found the direction of the assassin class advancement. Let's talk this out." "Put down the knife first." Lu Wu tugged at the blanket. Upon seeing this, Bailey took a step back excitedly and waved her dagger in the air. "This is the relic of the cursed clan. I can't believe a player found it. I think there's hope for the assassin class advancement." Lu Wu glanced at the rusty dagger that was missing a corner. He could not see anything special about it. "Is this thing very powerful?" Bailey nodded her head vigorously. "Yes, it is. This is the weapon of the Cursed Clan. I've always thought about the development of the Cursed Clan as an assassin class advancement or a hidden class. However, it was just a thought. This time, it's a reality." Upon hearing this, Lu Wu was surprised. "Tell me in detail, what's going on?" Bailey nodded. "The Cursed Apostles used to be a powerful clan in the land of Baiki. It is said that this clan is related to Hell in the underworld. Every one of their clansmen is a natural killer with the ability to summon cursed demons. They openly provoked the king of Baiki and were brutally suppressed by the army led by the king of Baiki. It can be said that this clan has disappeared from the land of Baiki. I didn't expect to find their item here. I thought I could only search for it after the equipment warehouse is repaired." As she spoke, Bailey's eyes narrowed into a crescent moon. "I was bored just now, so I went to the auction house and found this cursed weapon. I don't know which player put it up there, but it's only selling for 5 soul coins. Haha, I got a great bargain. What's the effect of this thing?" Lu Wu's face revealed a smile. "I'll make it into a template for you to see." Bailey held Lu Wu's hand as she spoke. She activated the artifact's ability and teleported to the mansion of the dead. Lu Wu, who was wearing his pajamas, was dragged into the laboratory in the mansion of the dead by Bailey. He fiddled with the dagger. With the help of the experimental machine, the dagger was broken down into countless tiny particles. As Bailey waved her hand, the particles were absorbed by the artifact's accessory ring on Bailey's finger. They were transferred to the space of the battle artifact and turned into a series of data. After that, Bailey began to arrange the groups of data seriously. After 2 hours of rearranging, Bailey finally had an excited smile on her face. Lu Wu quickly walked forward and saw the data displayed on the screen. Class Introduction, Frowny Face Cursed Apostle. They are willing to be cursed and abandon their faith to become a cursed apostle who controls death. They absorb the source of power in pain. In their eyes, death is just the beginning, and living is the Avicii hell. Class Specialty. Master the power of curses and possess the power to summon cursed devils. Weapon. Dagger, you're really something. Lu Wu was excited. He then rubbed Bailey's little head hard. Don't be noisy, it's not done yet. Wait a little longer. Bailey, who was wearing a lab coat, pouted and pushed Lu Wu a few steps back. Then, Bailey started to get busy again. Lu Wu, who was standing aside, felt relieved and relieved. There was a saying that behind every successful man stood an almighty little lowly. Who wouldn't say that was the case? At noon, a game notification rang in the minds of all the players in the game. Server announcement, game update, added assassin class change. Cursed Apostle. Chapter 35. Upon seeing this announcement, all the assassin players were extremely excited, as if they had been injected with stimulant. After entering the profession showcase, the scene changed rapidly. The player's point of view once again appeared in the familiar wilderness. At this time, in the open space of the wilderness, the rune master from before had turned into a figure wearing a tight black suit and a devil mask. Profession Introduction, Frowny Face Cursed Apostle. Willing to be cursed, betray their faith, and turn into a cursed apostle who controls death. They absorb the power of curses in pain. In their eyes, death is the real beginning. Profession Characteristics. Master the power of curses and possess the power to summon cursed demons. Weapon. Dagger. Profession requirement. The initial profession must be an assassin, and the level must be at least 30. After the introduction faded, the figure in the center moved. Naraka's first night killer. As soon as he finished speaking, a black circular formation suddenly appeared under the feet of the cursed apostle. Thick black fog gushed out from it, and the roars of evil spirits could be heard. Vaguely black, withered arms stretched out from it, as if they were trying to grab something, but they quickly disappeared. At the same time that the formation appeared, a 3-meter-tall shadow of an evil spirit slowly condensed behind the cursed apostle. This evil spirit had a green face and fangs. Its whole body was crimson, and it was holding a huge blood-red blade in its hand. Its whole body exuded a terrifying aura. After the formation disappeared, the cursed apostle held the dagger and slashed forward. At this time, the night demon behind him followed the cursed apostle's action and slashed forward with its blood-red blade. Suddenly, a blood-red light streaked across, and a deep saber mark appeared on the ground. Then, the scene paused, and the skill introduction appeared. Naraka's first night killer, thought. Summons the night killer demon to become a guardian apostle for 30 minutes. During this period, all damage caused will be added with the power of the night killer. At the same time, under the protection of the night killer, the damage received will be reduced by 15%. The skill introduction disappeared, and the scene continued. Naraka's second Avicii. When the second skill was released, the night demon dissipated. Another formation appeared under the feet of the cursed apostle, and a shadow of the Avicii demon with a pair of wings on its back appeared behind him. As the Avicii demon flapped its wings, it flew up with the cursed apostle. While in midair, the cursed apostle slashed his dagger forward. The shadow of the Avicii demon let out a low growl and dashed toward the direction where the dagger was pointing. Boom! The earth quaked and the mountains shook. A deep pit appeared in the bombed area, and raging flames burned in the pit. Pata! The cursed apostle landed on the ground. He gently tapped the ground with the tip of his foot and landed steadily. Naraka Realm 2 Avicii, none. Summons the Avicii demon to attack for 1 minute. During this time, the Avicii demon gains the ability to fly and can choose a certain area as the Avicii demon's target, causing large-scale destructive damage. Purgatory Dao 3rd, Prajna Scarification. After the third skill was released, a third formation appeared on the ground. to the surprise of all the spectating players, it was not an evil spirit that appeared behind the cursed apostle, but a golden Buddha statue sitting cross-legged on a lotus. At the same time, a figure appeared in front of the cursed apostle. It was a berserker holding a silver greatsword. Ha! With the roar of the berserker, he launched his attack. However, the cursed apostle just glanced at him coldly and raised his dagger horizontally. The berserker who was advancing suddenly stopped in his tracks. He struggled furiously, but he couldn't break free from the invisible shackles. What happened next shocked the players. The cursed apostle raised his dagger and stabbed it into his chest. Puff! It was supposed to be a self-destructive attack, but the cursed apostle was unscathed. Meanwhile, the berserker in the distance spat out a mouthful of blood, and a bloody hole appeared on his chest. The cursed apostle sneered at the sight. This time, he moved the dagger to his neck and stabbed it hard. The Prajna golden Buddha statue had a kind smile on its face, as if it was a benevolent being who delivered all sentient beings from suffering. The Buddha's light on its body flickered, and a huge swastika was hanging high above its head. On the neck of the berserker in the distance, a bloody mark turned from light to dark. Then, his body fell to the ground and turned into black smoke. Naraka Realm 3 Prajna Scarification Extreme. One of the three ultimate paths, the user can transform into the Prajna Demon Buddha, which lasts for 1 minute. During this period, the user can control the selected target to enter a state of restraint. At the same time, any damage caused to the user will be reduced by 85%, and the selected target will bear this part of the damage. After the 18 paths of Naraka ended, the game prompt appeared again. Frowny face note. The cursed apostle can master the 18 forms of demons in the Naraka realm, and has 18 forms of attack. From low to high, they are divided into 4 levels: psychic, void, and extreme. Among them, the 3rd, 9th, and 18th paths are the path of extreme evil, which is extremely difficult to master. For more information, you can consult the class advancement instructor. Seeing the cursed apostle's class advancement, the players went completely crazy. Strike gold. F*CK, F*CK, F*CK. Why do I feel that the cursed apostle who has completely mastered the 18 paths of Naraka is even more powerful than the rune masters? It's so scary. He can kill others even if he wants to commit suicide. He's invincible. Yishwar is the most terrifying. Hurry up and class advancement for me. I want to master the Naraka realm. It's so F*King cool. Fighting with the phantom of the evil spirit, it's so cool. Sure enough, I, the great assassin, am the real son of the game. Crayon_Shinchan. What about us mages? My middle finger is standing up uncontrollably. Someone, help me hold it down. Assassin_Creed. Go to the class advancement instructor immediately. I feel like I won't be able to sleep if I don't class advancement now. A_Mammoth. To be honest, the cursed apostle is really cool. He completely fulfills my fantasies, especially the phantom devil behind him. I'm begging for materials for class advancement. I want to class advancement immediately. Black_Sorcerer. I'm crying too much. What happened to the mage's spring? Why are the assassins so fierce? If we continue to play the game, won't we definitely die if we encounter an assassin who has mastered the 3rd level of the Naraka realm? Jiasu, stop arguing. I've calculated with my fingers. Our mage's class advancement should be Athena. Once the class advancement is successful, we will immediately become a god and kill the earth with one move. A mysterious god replied to Jiasu, "You're just calculating, aren't you? Athena? Do you want me to assign a few cockroaches to you to form a group of Saint Seiya?" With the appearance of the cursed apostle class advancement, all the assassin players fell into a state of excitement. In their opinion, the rise of assassins was inevitable. As long as they could class advance to the cursed apostle and master the 18 paths of Naraka, they would be invincible. However, the truth was always beyond people's imagination. Looking at the requirements of the class advancement, all the assassin players burst into tears. Chapter 36. Requirements for Cursed Apostle. Mission 1. The assassin player has reached level 30. After accepting the class change mission, any other monsters, excluding players, that are killed will be rewarded with an additional blood essence. After collecting 10,000 blood essences, the first level of the Naraka realm will be unlocked and the class change Cursed Apostle will be successful. Originally, when the assassin players saw how easy the first mission was, they were all excited. Compared to the difficulty of finding various materials for the Rune Master's job advancement, the assassin's job advancement was relatively easy. However, when the assassin players saw the requirements for mastering the skills below, they all burst into tears. Mission 2. Profession Advancement Naraka Realm 2. Avicii, none find the source of 3 types of curse power and hand them over to the class advancement instructor. The class advancement instructor will engrave the 3 types of curses into the body to complete the second class advancement. Avicii Demon. Naraka Dao 3, Prajna Scarification, Level 1 Lawless, Formless, Prajna Scarification. Comprehend the true meaning of Prajna in the midst of death. Extremely difficult. Player must comprehend it on his own. Naraka Dao 4, Mountain Quake, Virtual collect mountain spirit fragments and submit them to the class advancement instructor to complete the advancement. All the assassin players were dumbfounded when they saw the requirements of the Naraka Realm's advancement quest. Assassin's Creed. Why are the requirements for the strongest Prajna scarification so vague? If we were to comprehend in the midst of death, wouldn't we have to commit suicide again and again? Why was there a skill that required players to comprehend on their own? Why couldn't the skill instructor teach them? The great assassin replied to Assassin's Creed. Maybe not even the mentor, laughing emoji, a mammoth. I'm equally dumbfounded. Prajna scarification's learning ability is too abstract. This is the first time I've encountered an ability that I can comprehend on my own. This is too difficult. I'm just waiting for an expert assassin to comprehend it before coming up with a tutorial. Strike gold. As expected, the more powerful an ability is, the harder it is to learn it. My heart finally calms down. However, I feel that the assassin class advancement is really easy. All you have to do is kill monsters. Us berserkers don't even have a class advancement yet. My heart hurts. Yi Shuer is the cutest. Brothers of the Guardian Angel, follow me to the Ghost Mountains. When I gather 10,000 blood essences, I want to become the first cursed apostle in this game. Yi Shuer's sidekick replied to Yi Shuer is the cutest. Shuer must be the strongest. Come on. Crayon Shinchan replied to Yi Shuer's little follower, hello, simp. We meet again. Wave. Yi Shuer's little sidekick replied to Crayon Shinchan, hum. Hashtag. Crayon _Shinchan replied to Yi Shuer's little sidekick. I smacked him to the ground with my staff. Aside from Night Massacre, assassins were completely clueless about the other class's promotion method. Lu Wu could not do anything about it. After all, the template of the Cursed Apostle was easy to design, but the players had to rely on themselves to advance. This was especially true for Prajna Sacrificial Wisdom. Even during the Cursed Tribes era, very few players had managed to grasp this skill. Hence, due to reality, players had to learn these powerful skills on their own. The reason why the Night Killer's ability was easy to master was that Bailey had always set a convenient way for the Cursed Apostle to change class in the artifact. When the player gathered 10,000 blood essence and handed it over to the class trainer, these blood essences would all be sent into the artifact space. The artifact would then help the player engrave these blood essences into their body, which was equivalent to helping the player forge a new body. Players, on the other hand, could skip the process of swearing an oath to the Naraka realm and offering sacrifices. Although the difficulty of the mission was high, it did not affect the excited assassins at all. They could be seen frantically searching for wild monsters everywhere. With the appearance of the cursed apostle, the sorcerer players were a little depressed, but they were also looking forward to the appearance of their own class change. Lu Wu naturally would not let them wait for too long. Under the research of the all-powerful Bailey, the sorcerer template had begun to be finalized. As long as Bailey tested and confirmed that it was feasible, it would be put into the game. At the same time, in order to enrich the game's playability, Lu Wu planned to set the next building to be repaired as the Spirit Summoning Room. The Spirit Summoning Room was used by the King of Baiki to store the defeated enemy generals and the souls of the fallen heroes. There were many souls of the brave generals who had followed the King of Baiki to expand his territory. It was a sacrificial building. Lu Wu had his reasons for giving up on the repair of the equipment warehouse and choosing the Spirit Summoning Room first. At this stage, the class change was slowly being perfected, but the hidden class was completely blank. According to Bailey, there were a few extremely talented warriors among these souls. Their inheritance could be extracted by the artifact. Then, some randomly triggered class change quests could be set in the game. After the players completed the quests, they could obtain the power of inheritance and become a hidden class in the game. If this function was introduced, the players could be said to have truly started a comprehensive development. This was because these hidden classes were completely different existences. It could even be said that they were separated from the three main classes, which could fill the game with more unknown playability. However, everything was still in the planning stage. Although Lu Wu's soul coins were increasing rapidly every day, the consumption was also very high. For example, Lu Wu had recently set up 2 teleportation portals at the border of the Mansion of the Dead and Liuli district for the convenience of the players. This had also cost him a lot of soul coins. Therefore, the remaining soul coins were still a distance away from the 200,000 soul coins needed to repair the Spirit Summoning Room. However, the underworld was always full of surprises. Accidents could happen everywhere. Just when Lu Wu and Bailey had decided on the development direction of the hidden class, Bailey frowned. Then, she sank her mind into the side of a certain player in the underworld. Lu Wu saw this and turned his gaze to the underworld. In a withered forest in Liuli district, a berserker player was looking up at the blue sky with a face full of despair. It was not that he wanted to look at the sky, but he had fallen into a pit that was more than 10 meters deep. Moreover, he was surrounded by smooth rock walls. He did not know what else to do other than to look at the sky. He tried to climb up a few times, but the rock walls were too shiny and extremely hard. His blue-grade greatsword could not cut through them at all. He tried a few times, but he slid down after climbing less than a meter. Initially, he thought of committing suicide to escape. However, what made him even more desperate was that every time he was injured, a green light would seep out from the surrounding rock walls and heal his injuries. Seeing this, Sun Chi leaned against the wall with a dispirited face. He looked at the sky with blank eyes and shut himself in. The White Phantom Tomb? Woo, this player actually walked into the White Phantom Tomb? Bailey cried out in shock as she stared at the dispirited berserker. What kind of place is the White Phantom Tomb? Lu Wu asked curiously. It's a type of spirit beast unique to the land of Baiki. It's a very rare and noble existence. When this creature's lifespan is near its end, it will find a hidden place to leave its life inheritance for the fated underworld creature to inherit. He's in luck. Although Lu Wu did not really understand, he felt that it was amazing. Chapter 37. The comments were refreshed at a rate of hundreds per second. What is this place? The scenery looks pretty good, class. White Phantom Spiritual Beast, Form 1. He typed in the title. Trapped in a desperate situation, waiting for rescue online, very urgent. I've prepared a water tank. Are you ready to bleed? Soon, Sun Chi's livestream was found. The number of viewers immediately exceeded 50,000, and soon reached 100,000. He subconsciously clicked on the class menu. I was drinking water just now. I couldn't help but spit it out. Congratulations +1. However, this did not cause Sun Chi to panic. Instead, his face was filled with joy. To him, he could finally be free. An hour later, in his opinion, this player was somewhat perverted. How could he enjoy watching such scenes? The players watching the live stream held their breaths, looking forward to the first appearance of the White Phantom. After a while, under the expectant gazes of countless players, the green cocoon suddenly burst open. Suddenly, the pit was covered by a thick green fog. Green light flowed in the pit. With Sun Chi as the center, a green cocoon slowly formed and surrounded him. Just as Sun Chi was about to fall into isolation again, the white deer neighed, lowered its head, and rushed into Sun Chi's body. 2333 Congratulations. The hidden class is very domineering. So cool. Player. Sun Chi, level 21, 26%. Awesome, brother, the first hidden class in the whole server. But why is it an egg? Looking at Sun Chi's class menu, the players who were mocking him were all stunned. The rock wall actually sucked Sun Chi's arm tightly to it, making it impossible for him to pull it out. The blood that flowed out from his wrist was also absorbed into the rock wall. We've hit the jackpot. Doesn't this mean that every level you level up is equivalent to 2 levels for us? That's awesome. We've really hit the jackpot. Shut up. Brother White Dog, are you interested in becoming my mount? I'll bring you to Rome Bakey and kill all the ghost traders. Isn't that great? A small white dog with soft fur appeared at the bottom of the pit. Apart from its cute appearance, its growth attributes are insane. I'm so jealous. A server announcement suddenly appeared, causing a huge uproar in the game. Note: the blood of the White Phantom has magical healing effects. Damn, I'm going to become a dog too. It's the inheritance of a divine beast. I'm so jealous. Immediately afterward, a scene that surprised both the spectating players and Sun Chi happened. 666. What is the White Phantom? Find out. After starting the live stream, he quietly waited for the other players to come and save his weak and pitiful self. Sun Chi glanced at Lu Wu's comment and silently turned to look at the sky again. At this moment, Sun Chi was also extremely confused. He did not know what had happened. All he knew was that he seemed to have advanced to a hidden class. How did he become a dog? Did you guys notice? His HP can be healed. The first priest in the whole server has appeared. Offstage, of course, the chances of that happening were extremely slim. Sun Chi's status panel caused a huge commotion among the players. All the players fell into a state of excitement as they discussed Sun Chi, who had turned into a white puppy. It's not a priest, it's Tripitaka's meat. Brother, I've prepared a basin for a wave of blood. The potions in the shop are too expensive. Seeing the soul coins, Sun Chi had a strange look on his face. However, for the sake of the 5 soul coins, Sun Chi stood up and sighed. He raised his greatsword and slashed his wrist. Taking advantage of the fact that the healing power on the rock wall had not yet appeared, he quickly pressed it against the rock wall. The spectating players were also curious. Brother, have a safe trip. We'll see you in 3 hours. After the white deer circled around Sun Chi for a while, Sun Chi was surprised to find that his HP was full again. You're too weak. Just do as I say. Step with your left foot, step with your right foot, and fly all the way to the sky. You'll be out in no time. While I was eating, this guy advanced to a hidden class. Newcomers, you can watch the replay. Lu Wu felt helpless. Obviously, this player was completely autistic and did not want to try the crooked ways in the comments at all. After a while, players started to appear in the livestream one after another. Sun Chi's inheritance could only be attributed to luck. Even Lu Wu did not have the White Phantom's profession change panel. I can't take it anymore. I just had an operation today. I'm quitting. I'm dying of laughter. At this moment, Sun Chi could only feel that there was a constant stream of information entering his brain. However, these inheritances were all intercepted by the artifact and turned into data in front of his eyes. It's simple. Use the gecko wall climbing technique and climb up easily. Also, Wudong Cloud Ladder is not bad. Server announcement. Congratulations to player Sun Chi for successfully advancing to a hidden class. White Phantom Bailey, who was already prepared, immediately activated the artifact and began to digitize the inheritance. The massive loss of blood made Sun Chi's face extremely pale. Just when he thought that he was going to die, a sudden surge of energy came from the rock wall. Brother, cut your finger and smear your blood on the rock wall. If other players wanted to advance to a White Phantom, they would have to be like Sun Chi and find the place where the White Phantom left behind the life inheritance. Sun Chi tried one by one, but all of them ended in failure. Seeing this scene, all the spectating players were shocked. They did not know what was going on. Brother, do as I say. These 5 soul coins are yours. He was not moved at all. He did not even want to try. Ha ha, I'm laughing so hard that my snot bubbles are coming out. Congratulations, brother, for advancing to a dog. Faced with this situation where he could not leave and could not die, Sun Chi's eyes suddenly lit up. He tapped on the player's menu and chose the live broadcast option. Sun Chi became even more isolated. He looked up at the sky in despair and slowly lay down again. Seeing this scene, Lu Wu felt anxious for him. Hence, he registered an account on the official website and posted a comment in the live broadcast comment section. Other than the spectating players, there were also players who voiced their serious opinions. Lu Wu had no choice but to tap on the reward menu and directly tip 5 soul coins. Then, he posted another comment. However, when the white fog dissipated and Sun Chi's face was revealed, all the players had a strange expression on their faces. Are you trying to make me laugh to death so that you can inherit my Ant Flower? What a shameless fellow, ha ha. Details of the White Phantom Spirit Beast. A rare spirit beast unique to the land of Baki. The noble bloodline of the mythical beast flows in its body. Every time it reaches the end of its lifespan, it will look for a secluded place to leave its life inheritance for a fated underworld creature to inherit. With a cry, the phantom of a white spirit deer leaped out from the rock wall, circling and dancing around Sun Chitiao. Faint green sparkling light spots sprinkled in the pit. Class characteristics. Growth attributes increase by 100% with each level up. Can learn an inheritance skill when the level reaches 20/60/90/120. Can unlock the second form when the level reaches 150. Chapter 38. Many players were burning with passion. They began to search for holes and pits all over the mountains, just to obtain the inheritance of a hidden character class like Sun Chi. Be my mount, dog. The assassin saw this and walked to Sun Chi. Why are you crying? Aren't you ashamed? You're already a big dog, yet you're still crying. With this hidden character class, he could definitely become a high-end player or even the top player. Let's take screenshots and emojis. Ha ha, I feel like I'll die of laughter in your live streaming channel sooner or later. In the comments, there was an inheritance in the game, and finding the inheritance would allow one to obtain a powerful hidden character class. Brother, the little white dog is crying. In the end, the players who were dying of laughter could not stand it anymore. They logged into the game to rescue the little white dog that was about to surrender and become a mount. Only then did they end the taming of the dragon. I noticed it. This is the first time I've seen a healing skill, and it's an AoE skill. The dog is going to be a delicious steamed bun. After familiarizing himself with his body, Sun Chi's expression froze. He leaped up and jumped back and forth on the rock wall. Relying on the powerful attributes of his new body, Sun Chi easily jumped out of the pit this time. Sun Chi was in so much pain that he barked. The vines whipped Sun Chi's body, making him grimace. As a low-end player, he had no skills and no money to spend. He could only rely on killing monsters to slowly level up and accumulate equipment. However, things were different now. In the comments, "Brother, are you interested in joining the Guild of Guardian Angels? We need talents like you. I'm waiting to be tamed. I'm begging for violent abuse. Torture me to death to soothe my jealousy." Hearing this, the players outside the comments burst into laughter. Lu Wu and Bailey, who were also watching, could not help but laugh. "Didn't you guys notice that inherited skill? I feel like whichever guild that gets my hands on this dog will have a huge improvement in their PK skills in the wild. It's a godly skill." However, with the transformation of his form, his shouts sounded like woof, woof, woof to the female players. Facing the two players who were abusing him, Sun Chi turned his head and sobbed. He had already given up resisting and adjusted his pain to 0. At least it would not hurt anymore. If he could cover his face, Sun Chi really wanted to. Thinking that he was still live streaming, he wanted to die. This was especially true for that assassin player. Sun Chi had heard that assassins had gone crazy for the blood essence. They even wished they could kill the grass and flowers on the street. This caused many strange things to happen in the game. Some players with obsessive-compulsive disorder would jump into pits and burrow into holes whenever they saw one, causing many ridiculous incidents. At this moment, Sun Chi suddenly remembered that he was already level 20. It seemed that he had a legacy skill. It's fine. Let's tie it up for practice. After all, zombie wolves aren't easy to tame. This little white dog should be easy, a bearded assassin said. I'm laughing so hard. Brother, you're right. It's already a big dog, yet it's still crying. How embarrassing. It wasn't a combat skill. Sun Chi looked at the female player before him in despair, a tear falling from his eye. However, the dog form made him a little uncomfortable. He reached out to look at his paws and tried to run in the hole. Paw, paw, paw. Some players even jumped off the cliff, thinking that there was a peerless legacy skill waiting for them at the bottom of the cliff. What happened next did not disappoint Sun Chi. The two tamed players continued their inhumane, taming experiment on him. Taking a deep breath of the outside air, Sun Chi's heart was filled with joy. He felt that he was about to reach the peak of his life. These two players are really awesome. They kidnapped the number 1 hidden profession player in the server. I'm laughing so hard my stomach hurts. Although Sun Chi's encounter made the players overjoyed, many of them also noticed something. Therefore, under Sun Chi's dumbfounded expression, he was dragged out of the net and tied to a withered tree. I can't take it anymore. Someone help me. Our hidden profession boss is about to be tamed. Sun Chi howled as he was continuously whipped. As the female player whipped, a hint of excitement appeared in her eyes. This made Sun Chi feel despair. Brother, it doesn't look like a zombie wolf. It's a little white dog. A woman holding a staff said disappointedly as she lifted a corner of the net. In the comments, seeing that the female player was eager to take out the rattan, Sun Chi grinned and shouted. The first mount in the game, the White Phantom, is about to be born. Eat melon, eat melon. Sister, look, these wild creatures are all beastly. Don't be fooled by its small size. It's so fierce. You have to use all your strength to make it fear you. This is the first step to taming. I learned it from the taming master. Looking at the attribute panel, Sun Chi's face was filled with ecstasy. He had missed the best time to break free. Now that he was tied up tightly, Sun Chi did not know what to do. He was even afraid that these two players would kill him at the end. He immediately called out the skill panel. Hey, I'm a player. I'm a player. Just as he was immersed in his fantasies, a net made of vines suddenly fell from the tree beside him. Before Sun Chi could react, he was covered in it. Then, several wooden sticks smashed on his body. What a nimble dog! Did the attributes of the previous levels double after changing their profession? I'm so envious. Brother, the Battle Wolves Guild is suitable for you to develop. Come and join us. Let's build the strongest guild in the game together. The sweet pouring raindrops, inherited skill. can sprinkle healing rain in a specified area. Every second, it consumes 2% of the user's maximum health to carry out a large-scale group healing. Looking at the player's comments, Sun Chi smiled. This was the first time he felt that he was so valued. Hearing this, the female player nodded vigorously. Brother, I got it. Okay, I'll try it first. The female player nodded while holding the staff. Chapter 39. It could be clearly seen that Du Yan's pitch-black bones began to thicken, and sparkling dark green spots began to appear. Your Majesty, please speak. I will do my best, Du Yan said respectfully. After he finished speaking, Du Yan turned into a black shadow and quickly left the mansion of the dead, heading towards the North Rocks. The higher-ups of the Black Sea Corporation did not expect the Jieda Corporation to act so quickly. As he spoke, Du Yan extended his hand from his black robe, revealing the pitch-black ball in his hand. Dark Soul Pearl. 230119 Spirits. The person in charge of the Black Sea Corporation wanted to discuss this matter, but Lu Wu rejected him with a simple question. Dragon City, the headquarters of the Black Sea Corporation. After receiving the Dark Soul Pearl, Du Yan nodded solemnly. I will not let you down. Boom. We are still one step behind. Now that the more influential game manufacturers in the country have reached a mutual promotion agreement with the Jieda Corporation, let's discuss what to do, Wu Li, who was sitting in the main seat, said after glancing at everyone present. After taking another look at Lu Wu, Du Yan knelt on the ground and kowtowed. Thank you, Your Majesty, for your kindness. After the meeting, the headquarters of the Black Sea Corporation quickly contacted Lu Wu through Platform 173. Du Yan, I have a mission for you. The Jieda Corporation had never been lenient towards their business rivals, so they immediately decided to block Battle Online from their gaming pods. This is one of the tasks, but I will take care of Cha Na. The main task is for you to understand the current situation of the North Rocks, and report to me after you understand. In other words, all gaming pods produced by the Black Sea Corporation would not be able to download Battle Online. From the perspective of the Jieda Corporation, with so many game manufacturers' choices, the players would definitely make the right choice. One company? Wu Li, who was sitting in the main seat, sighed. While the conference was being held, their representatives had already begun to travel around the cities of Dragon Nation, snatching most of the cooperative promotion projects from the game manufacturers. Thinking that their years of research might be in a predicament due to this incident, everyone present felt bad. The person in charge of the Black Sea Corporation was surprised. He did not understand why Lu Wu would ask such a question, but he still answered decisively. As he spoke, Lu Wu waved his hand. A ball of soul power gushed out from his sleeve and entered Du Yan's body. Marketing is for a win-win situation. Naturally, there's no charge. At the same time, our gaming pods are embedded with your company's games. That is to say, as long as players buy our gaming pods, even if they don't download it, your company's games will still be in the game list. The next day, Lu Wu received a promotional contract from the Black Sea Company. But, even so, Du Yan still felt that this was an incredibly shocking method. I'm in charge of the collection of Een spirits in Liuli District. Hence, before I left, I brought all the Een spirits that Cha Na the Ghost General owned. This infuriated the Sea King, and he immediately led the Sea Beast Tide to attack. At that time, I knew that I was going to be exposed, and I had no choice but to leave. This surprised Alisa, who was in charge of the promotion project. She did not expect that the person who rejected her request would work with the Black Sea Corporation. Meanwhile, in the underworld, My king, do you want me to instigate the relationship between the Rock Ghost King and the Ghost General Cha Na? Du Yan thought about it and asked in confusion. Item details. An item used to store Een spirits, oh? Why? Lu Wu was surprised. At that moment, everyone in the meeting room looked solemn, as if they had a lot on their minds. Bring this along. As he spoke, Lu Wu waved his hand and used the artifact to draw out 150,000 Yin spirits from the Dark Soul Pearl, leaving 80,000 for Du Yan. What a complete betrayal. He even stabbed his former master before he left. What a cunning old bastard, but I like it. A player's growth needed to be accumulated step by step. It was like digging a ditch, turning it into a pond and then into a lake. It had to be done step by step. Du Yan was someone who had been cultivating for thousands of years. His foundation was solid, and Lu Wu was just adding water to his pond. A smile appeared on Lu Wu's face. Du Yan, you did well. Upon hearing this, Lu Wu immediately thought of the seaside battle that was broadcasted by the players that day. However, he did not expect that it was all Du Yan's doing. Is there a fee for the collaboration? The artifact's analysis ability was activated. The soul power was like an accelerant, causing the soul fire in Du Yan's head to surge. Its color slowly changed from green to scarlet. It's better than nothing. Go and negotiate, see if we can get the collaboration, and try to satisfy their demands. Why did you come back? Didn't I ask you to stay by Chana's side? Lu Wu's king of Baki asked calmly. This was different from the players. Greetings, my king. Du Yan bowed respectfully to the figure not far away. With this upgrade, Du Yan had a deeper understanding of Lu Wu's mysteriousness. He was even secretly delighted that his betrayal was the right choice. I have to return. Chana has discovered my disloyalty. If I continue to stay by his side, I will definitely die. But will the Rock Ghost King trust me? Du Yan was hesitant. Lu Wu nodded. In fact, it was not difficult for him to improve Du Yan's strength. Previously, I followed my king's order to return to Chana's side. First, I used the Tree Demon's branch to deceive him about the cause of Gui San's death. Then, he asked me to report to the Sea King about the tribute. In the end, I told the Sea King that Chana rejected his request. After living for thousands of years, this was the first time he had seen such a method. He could manipulate soul power and directly increase his strength by half a realm. Boss Wu, according to the news, there is still a relatively powerful game manufacturer that has not reached an agreement with the Jieda Corporation. I heard that they were the ones who rejected the Jieda Corporation. Lu Wu was a little confused. He waved his hand and gathered the Yin energy to float the black ball in front of him. Upon hearing the reply, Lu Wu immediately agreed to the collaboration. This left the person in charge of the Black Sea Corporation dumbfounded. He did not expect the progress to be so easy. The news of Lu Wu and the Black Sea Corporation's collaboration soon reached the ears of Alisa, the representative of the Jieda Corporation. At the same time, Lu Wu also promised the representative of the Black Sea Corporation that he would promote the gaming chamber in the game when it was officially released. Oh yes, I brought this with me before I came. Go and seek refuge with the Rock Ghost King. This. Du Yan was shocked. This. Du Yan was stunned. However, although Du Yan had returned this time, Lu Wu did not intend to let him stay in the mansion of the dead. He immediately reported the news back to the headquarters in a country. Although he felt helpless, Wu Li did not intend to let go of this collaboration opportunity. After reading it carefully, Lu Wu signed it and kept a copy before sending it back to the Black Sea Corporation. The collaboration between the two parties was officially established. Chapter 40. After Du Yan left, Lu Wu's consciousness also left the underworld. Originally, Lu Wu planned to give all the Yin souls to Du Yan as a bargaining chip for him to join the Rock Ghost King. After all, in Lu Wu's opinion, the soul power he possessed was obviously more useful than the Yin souls. However, this idea was stopped by Bailey, so Lu Wu extracted 150,000 Yin souls and stored them in the battle artifact. Literally, what's the use of these Yin souls? Lu Wu asked Bailey as his consciousness returned to the room. Of course it's useful. You should know that other people don't have artifacts that can control soul power like us, so they basically rely on Yin souls to forge weapons and equipment. Only high-level equipment would use rare soul stones. Moreover, souls have another important use, which is to build shuttle tunnels. Can't soul power be used as well? Lu Wu was stunned. It's different. Teleportation gates can be built with soul power, but shuttle tunnels can't. It requires sacrifices, and souls are the objects used for teleportation. There's a big difference in nature. Lu Wu rolled his eyes. You know that I'm illiterate in the underworld. Bailey squinted her eyes and nodded. Haven't we been thinking about the structure of the dungeon? These souls can come in handy. The reason why I asked you to leave 150,000 souls is that the sacrifice needed to connect to the Naraka realm is exactly this number. This time, Lu Wu understood and asked in surprise, does that mean that the function of the dungeon can be unlocked? Bailey nodded. Yes, I chose the Naraka realm this time. It's a forbidden area in Naraka where demons are constantly born. It's very suitable for players to level up, especially assassins. They can find many of the materials they need to change their class in there. More importantly, the Naraka realm has 18 levels. The lower you go, the stronger the demons will be. Therefore, it's especially challenging for growth-type players. How long will it take to build the shuttle formation? Lu Wu asked after some thought. About an hour. Lu Wu nodded and made an announcement through the battle artifact to all the players in the server. Server announcement. The game will undergo maintenance in 10 minutes and the function of the dungeon will be unlocked at the same time. Stay tuned. After the announcement appeared, the players were in an uproar. Lu Wu had also considered this point. After all, it would be too conspicuous to carve the formation outside the Mansion of the Dead. Moreover, he would have to appear at the scene in person. As the mastermind behind the scenes, it was better not to expose himself. After waiting in the house for 10 minutes, Lu Wu looked at the number of players who were online and found that there were still 70 to 80,000 players who were still online. Hence, he used the Divine Artifact's authority to forcefully kick all these players out of the game. The players who had nowhere to go began to gather on the forum. Crayon_Shinchan. Oh my god, I almost killed the iron zombie. It took me 20 minutes to kill it. Is there any compensation? Pepabor. I'm the same as above. I was fighting the Netherworld strongman with my friends, but I was mercilessly kicked out of the game when I was about to die. I strongly request for maintenance and compensation. I don't ask for much, just a purple weapon. A mammoth. Haven't you guys noticed the main point? The instance dungeon is open. Invincible loneliness. I'm collecting soul coins on a daily basis. I'm spending money to become stronger. Are there any players who are selling soul coins for a long time? Please add me and deduct 1234567. Assassin_Creed. All the functions of this game are awesome. I'm looking forward to the instance dungeon. I'm looking forward to finding a team to explore the instance dungeon in advance. Let's grow together. Shirley_the_strongest. I hope the drop rate of the instance dungeon is higher. I want to exchange for equipment, but unfortunately, I'll run out of soul coins. Poor thing. It could be seen from the forum that the players had high expectations for the instance dungeon. Naturally, Lu Wu would not disappoint them. He brought Bailey to the underworld. The crowded area around the Mansion of the Dead became very quiet after the maintenance was initiated. However, this was exactly what Lu Wu wanted. The two of them walked around the Mansion of the Dead and finally chose a place that was neither too far nor too close to the Mansion of the Dead. They started to build the altar. Of course, Lu Wu would always be a bystander when it came to such technical work. Bailey waved her hand and all the spirits in the artifact were taken out. Suddenly, dark green jellyfish-like floating objects appeared in the surroundings. At this moment, Bailey began to manipulate the energy. First, she drew a huge circle on the ground. Then, she started to draw a distorted pattern on the inside. After more than 10 minutes of carving, Bailey waved her hand again with a serious look on her face. Suddenly, the Yin energy in the surroundings rushed towards the circle and solidified it. The circle began to shine with a black light. Buzz, buzz, as the pattern on the circle was almost solidified, the ground began to tremble slightly. A scarlet light shone through the carved patterns. Sacrifice! Bailey shouted. Suddenly, the Yin spirits floating around were all driven towards the core of the circle. Woo woo, an ancient and sorrowful cry came from the circle. It was like a dying old man bidding farewell to the world at the last moment of his life. Then, something happened that surprised Lu Wu. A pair of scarlet-red arms with lava flowing on them suddenly stretched out from the circle. It grabbed forward forcefully, and all the Yin spirits above the circle were sucked away. Looking at the arms, Bailey had a serious look on her face. She uttered a few words that Lu Wu could not understand at all. After hearing what she said, the pair of arms made of lava shook slightly. An old sigh came from the circle. Then, the huge arms slowly sank until they disappeared. The circle that Bailey had carved turned into a scarlet circle. Light flowed within it and the bottom could not be seen. It's done. Bailey smiled happily. She looked at Lu Wu as if she wanted him to praise her. Lu Wu patted Bailey's little head. What is this arm? Also, what did you say to him just now? Bailey pouted. Don't call him an arm. He is one of the oldest gods in the underworld. Although he is dead, he is still a supreme existence. I used the ancient sacrificial language to communicate with his remaining consciousness. He offered to sacrifice 150,000 Yin spirits in exchange for a passage to the Naraka realm. So, he agreed? Of course he agreed. Otherwise, it would be impossible to build this passage because he is the god who controls the Naraka realm, one of the forbidden areas. Even after his death, he is still the only god of the Naraka realm. Lu Wu nodded. So, do we have to do the same for other dungeons in the future? Yes, all the forbidden areas have the remnant consciousness of the ancient gods of the underworld. It is precisely because of the dead ancient gods that those areas are called forbidden areas. Every forbidden area requires the permission of the gods to open up. So, you have to think of a way to instigate the players to plunder more Yin souls. That way, we can open up new dungeons continuously. Chapter 41. After completing the carving of the Naraka realm, Bailey took out a starter soul from the artifact space. After implanting the setting of the instance guide into the starter soul, she left the underworld with Lu Wu. Lu Wu glanced at the forum and realized that the players were guessing how the dungeon would look like. After some thought, he posted a message on the main page. Game maintenance completed. Dungeon, Naraka realm activated. NPC added. Dungeon guide. Hell realm, instance dungeon. The Naraka realm has 18 levels that can be used for leveling up and training. Each level has several boss-level monsters and countless powerful creatures. You can ask for more information from the Instance Dungeon Mentor. Group Instance Dungeon Requirements. The minimum number of participants is 10. Seeing this message, the impatient players started to log into the game one after another and rushed toward the dungeon's teleportation point. Wow, a large-scale instance dungeon that requires at least a 10-man party to be teleported. Is the requirement that high? Sad, I'm a lone wolf-type player passing by. Find a party to take me in. The assassin team is recruiting. Come, assassins, let's get some materials for class advancement. There's actually a time limit? You can only stay for an hour before you'll be teleported out. Lousy people express their dissatisfaction. After understanding the details of the Naraka realm from the dungeon guide beside the dungeon's teleportation point, many players could not wait to enter the dungeon to experience it. At this time, Bailey had also created a wizard character for herself and mixed in with the players. Bailey had never been to the Naraka realm before and was very curious about it. Hence, she decided to tag along. Of course, Lu Wu would not stop her. After all, it was a condensed body, so there would be no danger. Many parties were gathering people for the sake of the stability of the wastelands. Basically, the more the merrier. Bailey had also joined a party at this moment. Coincidentally, this party was Yi Shue's Guardian Angel Guild. The requirement to join the expedition was to join a guild. After Bailey applied to join the guild and was approved, she joined this large guild. Coincidentally, she was assigned to Yi Shue's party. As the leader, Yi Shuer looked at the team list. After confirming that there were 30 people, she shouted in the guild live chat channel, "Let's go!" She then reached out and touched the portal of the dungeon instance, and a panel popped up. Dungeon selection. One Naraka. There was only one option. Yi Shuer extended her hand and tapped again. Instantly, the entire team felt a sense of weightlessness. In fact, according to Bailey's settings, the players would first be sent to the artifact space. During this period of time, the players' senses would be shielded. Then, the artifact would directly send them to the instance dungeon's teleportation channel. This setting was for the convenience of players. After all, it was extremely inconvenient and slow for players to jump into the tunnel one by one. In terms of teleportation, it was set to be randomly teleported, so it was purely up to luck where one would appear. When they regained their senses, the party discovered that their surroundings had changed drastically. The ground around them was dry and cracked, and red magma flowed through the cracks. Even though everyone had lowered their perception, they could still feel a rolling heat wave rushing toward them. 18 levels of hell. One of the text that indicated the player's current location slowly faded away. What a realistic hellish environment. Awesome. The players were amazed by the environment of the Naraka Realm dungeon. Some of them even reached into the cracks on the ground to touch the magma out of curiosity. Their arms were instantly scorched, and a damage number appeared above their heads. "Alright, everyone, don't touch anything. Let's move forward in a group." According to the instance dungeon instructor, there are many precious materials and treasures in this dungeon. Look carefully, don't miss it. Yi Shuer spoke in the guild voice chat after she scanned her surroundings. Then, the party began to move forward. After walking for about 10 minutes, a waterfall formed by magma appeared in front of them. Initially, Yi Shuer wanted to go around the waterfall and continue moving forward. At this time, a sharp-eyed player suddenly noticed that there seemed to be a cave on the left side of the waterfall, so he mentioned it in the guild voice chat. Yi Shuer was curious since they were here to look for treasures. She waved her hand, and the party began to approach the waterfall. The closer they got to the waterfall, the more obvious the heat wave became. Other than the berserkers with strong physiques, the mages would basically have a -1 number appear above their heads every 5 seconds. Fortunately, they had already reached the entrance of the cave. Otherwise, they would not have dared to continue forward. Yi Shuer walked to the side of the cave and peeked inside. She realized that she could not see the end of the cave, so she waved her hand behind her and led the way into the cave. The rest followed one after another. The cave was close to the magma waterfall, but after entering, they realized that they could not feel any heat at all. The deeper they went, the more bone-chilling they felt. As their vision became dimmer, Yi Shuer gestured for everyone to take out the torches that they bought from the shop. Instantly, the view before them became bright again. Under the flickering bonfire, the cave looked even more eerie and terrifying. Such a realistic scene made some of the more timid players shrink their bodies. They continued forward, and when they reached the end of the cave, they suddenly stopped in their tracks. A gust of cold wind blew from the corner, and waves of chilliness assaulted the few of them, giving them the illusion that there was a monster lurking around the corner. Yi Shuer took a deep breath and walked at the front. Although she was actually very afraid, as the boss, her pride was more important than her life. After turning the corner, their vision suddenly widened, and an empty field appeared before them. As they appeared, a few clusters of flames rose from the rock walls around the empty field, brightening up the surroundings. When everyone saw the scene in the empty field clearly, all the players in the party were shocked. This was because before them was a burial chamber. It was densely packed, and there were at least 10 coffins placed neatly there. It was a great shock to Yi Shui-er and the rest. Yi Shui-er kept comforting herself that everything in front of her was fake. Everything was fake. After taking a deep breath, Yi Shui-er led the way toward the coffins. When they arrived at the center of the empty field, Yi Shui-er wanted to take a closer look, but she heard a loud bang next to her. She was so scared that her face turned pale and she almost screamed. She turned her head to look and realized that it was her brother Yi Chen. At this moment, he was holding a great sword and smashing a stone coffin. "Brother, what are you doing?" Yi Shui-er could not help but yell angrily. "I feel that there must be an inheritance in there, or at least a treasure." Yi Chen turned his head and answered very seriously. As he spoke, he was about to swing his great sword again. Yi Shui-er was stunned. After thinking about it, what Yi Chen said seemed to make sense. After all, treasures were hidden in hidden places. Seeing that Yi Shui-er did not stop him, the players who were convinced by Yi Chen's words also picked up their staffs, great swords, and daggers and began smashing the stone coffins, hoping to smash a hidden class out. After a series of bang-bang sounds, the players panted heavily and looked at the stone coffins that were not damaged at all. They seemed very depressed. "This is so infuriating. Can't you install a switch? How are we supposed to play? The gaming experience is terrible," Yi Chen complained. Hearing this, the corners of the players' mouths twitched. They thought to themselves, "Where is the switch in your ancestor's coffin? If I die, I'll install a switch on my coffin. I can press it to open and close it. Easy and convenient," Yi Chen continued to sigh faintly. Everyone was speechless. Chapter 42. Gotcha! Brother, help, help! Seeing Yi Shui-er and the others, the leading player was overjoyed. He immediately adjusted his direction and ran toward them. Roar, roar, the little fire dragon raised its head and roared happily as soon as it appeared. After everyone stabilized themselves, they realized that there were 3 more players beside them. At this critical moment, a crisp dragon roar came from the dragon egg. A fiery red light began to flow outside the eggshell. Seeing this, Yi Chen pointed his greatsword at the players who were running toward him and let out a heart-wrenching roar. Looking at Yi Shui-er and the others who were ready to fight, the leading berserker's mouth twitched. Just as he was about to use his mouth cannon mode, he tilted his body and the cave began to shake again. "Don't come over! Brother, help!" The berserker's eyes were about to pop out of their sockets when he saw this. One had to know that their team had almost sacrificed their lives for the dragon egg. He did not even need to think to know how valuable the dragon egg was. Unwilling to give up, Yi Shui-er tried to shove the little fire dragon into her personal space again. Dong! 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 Everyone was speechless. Suddenly, a crack appeared on the eggshell, and the crack spread rapidly. This time, a surprising scene occurred. The little fire dragon turned into a stream of light and drilled into her body, disappearing. "The touch screen is more advanced," Bailey, who had been watching silently, interrupted. As soon as they walked out of the cave, they felt a strong gust of wind and heat wave coming toward them. Looking at the short Bailey carrying 3 jars, the group did not know whether to laugh or cry. However, they still shook their heads. In less than 5 seconds, the earth shook and the mountains shook. Gravel kept falling from above. Roar! The roar of the fire dragon was heard outside. However, just as he was about to stand up and snatch the jar, a huge rock fell from the sky and hit him hard. Actually, there might not be any treasure in these jars. There are many of these jars buried in our village. If we're lucky, we'll get old wine that has been sealed for many years, an honest-looking berserker in the team said. It seems like we can only give up. Remember this location and we'll open the coffin when we're stronger, Yi Shui-er said helplessly. After sweeping through the stone tomb once more and making sure that nothing was left behind, the members of the team followed Yi Shui-er out of the tomb chamber. At the same time, they memorized the location of this place. They were prepared to open the coffin and search for treasures when they were stronger. Looking up, Shi Feng noticed a gigantic fire dragon swooping down from the distance. Below the fire dragon, over a dozen players ran for their lives. The player leading the charge held a fiery red egg in his hand. Noticing that everyone was looking at her, Bailey shrunk back shyly while holding her staff. Squeak! Yi Shui grabbed Charmander's neck and pulled it in front of her. The players on both sides roared at each other. A smile appeared on Bailey's face. With a flash of blue light, the jars in her hands disappeared and entered the artifact space. Bailey silently took a few steps forward and picked up the 3 jars. If you don't want them, I'll take them with me. No one felt that it was strange. This is a boss. It's your first kill. Help. The player leading the charge continued to roar. If we're unlucky, it might be our ancestors. At this moment, Yi Shui leaped forward and took the opportunity to kick the berserker who was holding the dragon egg to the ground. She then snatched the dragon egg from his hand. Brother, let's talk this out. Don't fight. The berserker who was leading the charge smiled awkwardly and retracted his hand that was holding the dragon egg. Yi Shui was tempted as she looked at the dragon egg that was glowing brightly and faintly emitting a young dragon's roar. The cave shook again and the falling gravel became denser. F***ck, brother, don't come over. After snatching the dragon egg, Yi Shui immediately used her personal space to put it in. However, to her surprise, the dragon egg could not be put into her personal space. At the same time, the space gave her a notification. Items with signs of life cannot be put into personal space. In the end, they found 3 sealed stone jars. After knocking on it for a while, they realized that the stone jars were made of the same material as the sarcophagus. They could not be broken at all. At this point, there were only 3 people left in the team. If they were to fight, he knew that he would not be a match for Yi Shui and the others. This time, the shaking was even more violent than before. Accompanied by the roar of the giant dragon, the entire cave seemed to be falling apart as it shook crazily. What if we're unlucky? Everyone looked at him curiously. At the same time when the notification appeared, another roar came from outside the cave. Then, the cave collapsed completely and Yi Shui was buried by the falling rocks. Seeing that the fire dragon was getting closer, Yi Shui immediately said and then led the team into the cave again. This time, it was not gravel that fell, but huge rocks. One by one, the players were buried by the huge rocks and the shaking was still getting worse. It was obvious that the fire dragon outside had gone completely crazy. The team was completely speechless at Yi Chen. After all, every player had a personal space. However, they did not know that this personal space was actually the internal space of the battle artifact. It was just that it was divided for each player. Bang! At this moment, the eggshell cracked and a cute little fire dragon flew out of the eggshell. Server announcement. Congratulations to player Yi Shui for hatching her first pet, fire-devouring dragon, larva. What should we do? There's a treasure but we can't take it. This is too much. Yi Chen looked at his sister, Yi Shui. Quick, into the cave. Hearing the honest berserker's words, everyone looked at the 3 jars with a strange expression. When they thought that the jars were filled with ashes, they felt a chill down their spines and put the jars on the ground. The players on Yi Shui's side looked at the approaching giant dragon and roared at the top of their lungs, hoping that the bastards who stole the egg would not harm them. The leader of the team, the berserker, wanted to cry but had no tears. After their team stole the egg, they thought that they would be safe after running far away. However, they did not expect that the dragon egg could not be kept in their personal space. When the fire dragon discovered that the dragon egg was stolen, it actually sniffed the dragon egg's scent and chased after them. Yi Chen was speechless. She was an expert when it came to killing and stealing, so she did not stop Yi Chen from doing it. Although they had given up on opening the coffin, they continued to search the tomb to see if there were any treasures left behind. His best friend, King's left hand, added, "Brother Yi, do you want a sliding cover or a flip cover? Hand over the egg." Yi Shui pulled out her dagger and said rudely, "F*CKU, brother. Why don't you go for the first kill yourself? If you come any closer, I'll kill you." Yi Chen roared. Looking at the player holding the dragon egg, both sides were silent for a few seconds. Then Yi Chen slowly raised his greatsword. Chapter 43. The fire dragon egg hatched at the critical moment and was stored into the channel by the artifact. That was how Yi Shui was lucky enough to obtain her first pet in the game. The Berserker and the others who had their dragon egg stolen were furious and started a war of words on the official forum. The Demolition Officers, the guild that the Berserker belonged to, also announced a challenge to the Paladin Guild. As the number of players increased, guilds appeared like mushrooms after the rain. The Demolition Officers was originally a relatively strong guild in another game. They joined after the rise of Battle Online. Although they had not been established for long, their strength was still incomparably strong and was not weaker than the Paladin Guild. At this moment Yi Shui was feeling elated. Although the first dungeon challenge ended so quickly, everything was worth it after she obtained the fire dragon egg. In her heart, she was even more determined that killing and looting was the true essence of the game. She was not afraid of the Demolition Officer's challenge at all. She immediately accepted the challenge on the forum and was prepared to have a large-scale guild war in the wild after her resurrection. However, the other players were not concerned about the fight between the two guilds, but the fact that there were pets in the Naraka Realm dungeon. This made many players jealous. Many casual players began to form groups to enter the Naraka Realm in hopes of hatching a pet. However, even if it was the first level, the Naraka Realm was full of danger to the players. The weakest monsters in the Naraka Realm could only be killed by a group of players. Although there were relics and treasures, it was not easy to find them. Strength and luck were indispensable. For example, even if Yi Shui's group found the sarcophagus, they could not open it at all. It was futile. However, as more and more players entered the Naraka Realm, and those who found materials or treasures posted pictures on the forum to show off, the players became even more passionate about the Naraka Realm. It could be said that they were happy to be tortured by such a difficult dungeon. After the cooldown for resurrection was over, Yi Shui logged into the game again with anticipation. He opened up the attribute panel and glanced at the additional pets that had appeared. Fire-devouring dragon level 0 larva. Pet details. Fire attribute beast, lives in high-temperature areas all year round, has fire immunity. Pet attributes. Strength 4, Agility 4, Endurance 4, Spirit 6. Pet quality. High, low, medium, high, spiritual beast, mythical beast, world-suppressing spirit. Pet skills. None can be learned through growth requirements. Devouring fire attribute spirit stones can increase pet experience. Note: after death, pets can be resurrected by purchasing pet resurrection pills in the shop. Regarding the pet settings, Bailey had already made arrangements long ago. After all, the pets were completely digitized, which meant that they would lose some of their spirituality. For example, the fire-devouring dragon was supposed to be a spirit beast, but after being digitized, it could only reach the advanced level. This was inevitable. Moreover, the digitalization of the pet had to be in the infant state that had just hatched. It could only be kept into the artifact the moment it came into contact with the outside world. If it was an adult, it would be impossible to digitalize it even with the help of the artifact. As for pet resurrection, Lu Wu naturally would not let the players use the artifact's ability for free. There would definitely be a fee, and it would not be cheap. Each resurrection would cost 30 soul coins. After looking at the pet attribute panel, Yi Shui clicked on Summon Pet. A black whirlpool suddenly appeared in front of her, and the chubby little Charmander flapped its wings excitedly and flew out. A woo! Charmander circled around Yi Shui twice, then burrowed into her arms and rubbed against her. Upon seeing this, Yi Shuer grabbed the little Charmander's neck and pulled it in front of her to take a closer look. It seems a little weak. I still have to spend time to train it. So troublesome. Yi Shuer seemed a little disappointed. Charmander seemed to understand Yi Shuer's words. It immediately puffed up its cheeks and spat out forcefully. Cough cough. Yi Shuer was expressionless as she looked at the little flame. It's not bad to light up a cigarette, Yi Chen said with a smile. Yi Shuer kept the little Charmander back into the pet dimension, then glared at Yi Chen. Get ready to gather people. I think the people from the demolition officers are ready. Let's beat them up. Alright. Yi Chen put the greatsword on his shoulder and walked out with a grin. At this moment, Lu Wu and Bai Li were discussing the recent conflicts between the guilds. Due to the opening of the Naraka realm, the conflicts between the players were constantly escalating as they fought for materials and relics. The conflict between the guardian angels and the demolition officers was only one of them. Every guild had more or less conflicts, so Lu Wu planned to organize the first guild hegemony tournament in the game. In front of Lu Wu, there was a piece of paper with the words, Guild Hegemony Tournament, scribbled on it. Lu Wu's idea was simple. He wanted to build a huge battlefield and 100 cities in the artifact space. All guilds with at least 500 members could sign up to participate in the Guild Hegemony Tournament. The theme of the tournament was to capture the flag. There would be a flag in the center of every city. Any guild that occupied the city could change the blank flag into their own guild's flag. Of course, capturing the flag was just a process. Even if the guild that occupied the city changed the city's flag, the players from other guilds could still take it back. This was a large-scale tournament that focused on attacking the city in the early stage and defending the city in the late stage. It would last for half a day. At the end of the time, the 100 guilds that managed to defend the city would be ranked as the top 100 guild. At the same time, Lu Wu had also prepared a guild reward for them. Of course, this was a huge project. Even if he could easily gather energy to build cities in the artifact space, it would still take a lot of Lu Wu's time. Therefore, this event was still in the preparatory stage and would not be opened anytime soon. There were already more than 300 guilds with at least 500 members in the game. Lu Wu planned to wait until the number of such guilds reached 500 or even more than 1,000 before he started the tournament. At that time, it would definitely be a brilliant epic battle between heroes vying for supremacy. Chapter 44. On the third day after the opening of the Hell Path, Lu Wu's soul coins had finally reached 200,000. The construction of the Spirit Summoning Palace, that he had been planning for a long time, had finally begun. After 30 minutes, a towering pagoda appeared near the mansion of the dead. The players in the game also received the first surprise of this update. Server announcement: the hidden class Sun-Chasing Archer and the Legacy Trial have been released in this update. The limit for this hidden class is 10 people. You may inquire about the details at the class mentor. The inheritance of the Sun-Chasing Archers was Lu Wu's first gift to the players. The heroic spirit Juri used to be the best archer under the King of Baiki. His strength had almost reached the realm of the Ghost King, and his archery skills were the best in the land of Baiki. He could be said to be a subordinate that the King of Baiki highly valued. However, in the battle to exterminate the cursed clan, the clan leader of the cursed clan sacrificed his life to activate the Prajna scarification and forcefully killed him. The King of Baiki was extremely distressed by Juri's death, but he could do nothing about it. However, his soul was still kept in the Spirit Summoning Palace by the King of Baiki, becoming one of the heroic spirits worshipped by future generations. After the Spirit Summoning Palace was restored, the first hidden profession that Bailey extracted was him. Of course, since the game was real and archery was not something that could be mastered by ordinary people, Lu Wu set a limit of 10 people and activated a hidden class challenge trial. The requirements of the trial were simple. All the registered players would be teleported into a shooting range built by Bailey in the artifact space. players had to go through 3 trials: 50-meter, 100-meter fixed target archery, and 150-meter moving target archery. The players had 5 chances to shoot arrows in each segment. The 10 players with the highest scores would receive the inheritance of the hidden class, sun-chasing archer. The appearance of this trial made many players very excited, but it was clear that the archery trial was extremely difficult. If an ordinary person didn't have systematic training, they wouldn't even be able to hit the target, not to mention the 150-meter moving target, which was the most difficult. However, it still could not stop the passion of the players for the hidden class. Apart from the players who were not interested in the archer class, a large number of players had signed up to participate in the legacy trial. The next day, the registration ended, and the number of applicants reached 250,000. The trial that the players were looking forward to finally began. All the registered players were teleported to the shooting range in the artifact space. To prevent players from interfering with each other, every player was separated into different spaces. At the same time, a scoreboard was hung in the distance, allowing players to easily check their scores and rankings. The first test was a 50-meter target, and each target had 5 rings. If you hit the red ring, you would get 10 points. If you hit the red ring, you would get 1 point. If you hit the target but didn't hit the ring, you would get 5 points. If you missed, you wouldn't get any points. The minimum requirement to advance in the first round was to score 10 points. After the test officially began, an iron bow appeared in the hands of every participant. At the same time, they also received 5 arrows. Although the first test only had a distance of 50 meters, it was too difficult for players who had never come into contact with bows and arrows. After 5 arrows were shot, out of the 250,000 players, less than 40,000 were left to advance to the second round. This made Lu Wu, who had been watching, feel helpless. It was obvious that the archer class was too advanced for ordinary people to play. The second round of the test began, and all the players who passed looked at the scoreboard. First place, Li Lin, 50 points. Second place, Su Mu, 50 points. Third place, Yi Chen, 50 points. Fourth place, Mo Lingtian, 50 points. The 10 players who made it to the top 10 all achieved a 100% hit rate. To many players, these people must have practiced archery in real life. Otherwise, how could they have such a high hit rate? However, Yi Chen didn't think so. Looking at the target that was pulled to a distance of 100 meters, he was a little dumbfounded. As for this archery inheritance, he didn't have much hope in it. He just participated blindly for fun, but who knew that he would actually hit the bullseye with his blind shooting? Yi Chen was embarrassed when he saw that he was ranked 3rd on the scoreboard. The second round began, and new arrows were distributed. Yi Chen took out another arrow from his quiver and put it on the bowstring. Whoosh! The sound of wind breaking could be heard, and the arrow shot out. Beep! The scoreboard in the distance lit up, 10 points. This time, Yi Chen was completely dumbfounded. One must know that he had never learned any archery, and he had never even touched a bow before. Even he was impressed by his luck. Could it be that I'm really gifted in archery? Therefore, he took out another arrow from his quiver and put it on the bowstring. He took a slight aim and released the arrow. 10 points, 10 points, 10 points, 10 points. After shooting 4 times, Yi Chen admired himself from the bottom of his heart. He felt that he was really a genius, and at the same time, he felt that archery was too easy. Entering the third round, there were less than 3,500 players left, and Yi Chen was still ranked 3rd. This made Yi Chen's confidence grow. The third round began, and the fixed target became a moving target. At the same time, the distance became 150 meters, and there was only 30 seconds for each shot, so the difficulty became higher. Seeing the target moving back and forth irregularly at 150 meters, Yi Chen was a little less confident this time. He tried to take out an arrow and put it on the bowstring. After roughly predicting the target's movement, he released the arrow. Bang! Beep! 10 points. The bowstring shook, and the scoreboard in the distance reported the score at the same time. Haha, I really am a genius! Obtaining 10 points again, Yi Chen's face was filled with joy. Just as Yi Chen had expected, the next 4 arrows hit the bullseye. When the final result came out, Yi Chen was extremely pleased. Server announcement. The ranking of this inheritance trial is as follows. The top 10 players will begin their class advancement and inheritance. First place, Yi Chen, 150 points. Second place, Mo Lingtian, 149 points. Third place, Li Lin, 143 points. Fourth place, Su Mu, 141 points. Although he wanted to keep a low profile, his strength did not allow him to do so. Seeing that he had obtained the first place, Yi Chen laughed out loud. When the trial ranking appeared, Lu Wu looked at Bailey. Let's begin the inheritance. Bailey nodded and focused her consciousness into the artifact. She made 10 copies of the sun-chasing archer inheritance and transferred it to the 10 winning players template. At the same time, Bailey spent 2,000 soul points to help each player reconstruct their body templates so that they could adapt to the inheritance. When the inheritance began, Lu Wu did not disappoint the curious players. He started 10 live broadcasts in the shooting range, each of which corresponded to the 10 players who had obtained the hidden class. Pieces of information appeared in the minds of Yi Chen and the others after the inheritance began. Congratulations, you have successfully changed your class to Sun-Chasing Archer. You can check the details of the class in the attribute panel. At the same time, the shooting range will continue to be open for another 30 minutes. Please use the time to adapt to your new skills.